It's loading. Hey, we seem to be on. Hello, stream.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi, stream.
Hello, stream.
Hello.
I'm gonna see if this opens on the right. Please don't. Oh, it didn't. Good. Cool. We are Bela'Dun and Beyond. Before I get into session recap, which will be done to a standard that none of you are even ready for this week, let me... I didn't get a chance to move this over, but what I do want to say is... I put it in Twitch. Our Agatha art, courtesy of good friend of ours, good friend of the show, I don't know if we count as a show, Rhoda, has put together. Agatha appears in the bottom right now and will do, presumably until she dies.
Hey!
Oh no.
What's gonna happen? Chickens live forever.
Whether or not that's before or after the party, we don't currently know.
Plug
We
Rhoda
will see.
Foxy.
I'm
Rhoda
just putting
Voxy.
Rhoda's Instagram. She's down there as Voxy. I think it's at VoxyGram. I'm putting the link in Twitch. I hope that's the right link. I'm gonna click it. Oh good, it didn't open on the right. That's good. Yep, that's the right one. So yeah, if you want to see more of Rhoda's artwork, similar, probably not at all similar to the Agatha art, given the rest of her stuff is like definitely a different thing. But yeah, that was done by Rhoda. Thank you very much. And there's the link to her Instagram. So, if nobody else has anything, I feel like we're ready for some form of recap as I scramble for music that I always forget to get.
Have you got your dice?
I've got dice, I've got the session plan, I've got my DM paper, because it's not really a board.
Ooh.
Sounds like you got all your things.
Lucy / Nemea, do you want to
Yes.
take the lead?
Okay.
Break up.
So, Bela'Dun and Beyond, session 44.
It's right so far.
It was
Wish shit it was 45.
I don't remember.
a long night.
Nemea, Taran, and Asteros continue the search for clues and create a Nat 1 distraction for Taran. Livia and Vice make plan. Be invisible. Go drinking. Way too much chaotic energy. Get drink from Slender Woman? Question mark.
yes,
Wrap
I
up
did.
chicken in a string.
Yes.
Oh my god. Vice makes a scene, and the south is where the Serenity Squad is. We regroup with this, and we share intel.
That makes sense.
That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is
Heska?
Vice making a scene where he screamed, "I don't fancy what's the face?" Raina.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yep.
Is there more, Lucy, or is that where you got up to?
Yes. No. There
Oh,
is
okay, cool.
I was like, so to speak. Hiskas has dealt with the Dana and secured her in Stolven. The team argues, and Nemea becomes the chicken's guardian. We begin the search through the woods,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
good.
chicken drags Nemea across the woods. We keep looking for Raina in this Serenity camp. Asteros talks with the commander Ashen. Was his name Ashen? I think that's right.
Yes.
That
Yes.
sounds bad.
Yes, it is Ashen.
Good, because I put that in afterwards, and I was like, Ashen? 1 second, I just closed it by accident. While Vice goes invisible to find Raina, we find Raina anyway, and Livia talks to her about the incident and her squad. Livia takes her for a drink. Taran then pats a dwarf. Big no-no. Gets punched in the face by said dwarf Meldar, and they duel. Taran loses, but he makes a friend. Yay. We are unable to get any information. And I wrote Astros couldn't get any information, so I'm guessing that was a separate thing that was going on. And Nemea is defeated by the chicken. We are doing terribly. The end. That is it.
Cool.
Oh yeah, because you spoke to the dude and he was like, "Why the fuck have you got a chicken?" And you were like, "Freeze!
Yep. It's like, I'm just gonna go sit outside.
I lost my chicken. Leave me alone. Bye."
Chicken, you take it.
So,
Just
can
have a
you
wait for chicken.
can you guys remind me who is where? I know that Livia is heading
We all
towards
together?
central tent with
Raina?
Raina.
Yep.
Let me just
I
pull you
left
over
Asteros
to
and
here.
Nemea outside to go and talk to this mage. Whose name?
Yeah.
To go
I
talk to a mage. You went and spoke to Meldar.
Spoke to Meldar and then with Asteros and met afterwards.
Meldar.
And then they were like, to this fucking guy.
The mage is a Laylor. What's happened to where the fuck have I put his thing?
That's it, a Layla.
Yeah, so you're Taryn went to speak to a Laylor, everyone else is out front, is that right?
I
Vice
followed.
is 20 minutes in. You're 20 minutes into your visibility, I think, aren't you?
Yes, that is what
and
we said.
And I was. I went and followed Livia and tapped her on the shoulder. I think.
Yep,
Or-
as I was leaving with
And
Raina.
yeah, and she
And then
took the-
I loudly announced that I hope Vice would find his way back to Asteros because that's where he should be.
Yes.
Yes.
And then carried on going to
So
the pub.
So as you guys are out front, you see Aresia approach those of you that are out front. So I think that's Nemea and Asteros. Vice is sort of hovering in between, but currently invisible, so nobody's really seeing him. Aresia comes over and takes Asteros to the side. She doesn't get really close enough to the rest of you to have a full conversation. But Asteros steps aside, speaks to Aresia. You guys, I'll tell you what, those of you that are there, roll perception for me. So, Vice, Nemea, and that is all.
Oh, I was genuinely looking. I was like, why not me? It's like, oh, I'm not there at all. That's
yeah,
something to do with it.
yeah. You got your own
Fine.
thing going
Am
on.
I there?
Oh my lord! Oh, I should have rolled before we started.
Yeah, so you, Nemea and Vice.
13.
Okay, cool. So neither of you... Oh, actually, I haven't seen Vice's yet. Was yours the 9, Vice?
Oh, mine's 9.
Perfect. So the two of you don't hear what they're saying at a distance. It's not that they're hiding it. It's just that they've stepped a fair bit away and you don't happen to overhear it. After a couple minutes, Asteros walks away from the group and Aresia walks towards the group. As this is happening, because I'm going to have to message Amy.
Wait, is Oresio? Yeah.
You can see her coming over to you guys.
It's like stand up straight.
But as that is
So, you
happening,
like beer?
Livia is on her way to the central tent with Raina.
Oh,
Raina,
Arrestia's saying that she's struggling to hear.
is that still a problem?
Yeah, it was like 4 minutes ago.
Was that in Discord?
Yeah, Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm trying to do it while you're talking. I can barely hear you over the music. I
Oh,
hear you
so-
both.
maybe to
I
turn
can
the
hear
music down.
everything,
Turn
but the
rhythm
music's
down.
louder than you guys.
Yeah, so if you right-click rhythm, you should be able to pull its volume, its individual volume, like really low. Or just turn it off if you need to.
Mine's on like 2%, Amy, because it is naturally quite loud.
Yeah, it is crazy loud. Mine's at 20%, but that's so that it actually shows up on
Oh,
stream.
boy. Mine's at 38.
Right, I have it. Right, that's better.
Is it better?
And then-
Mine's at like
So what you can do is
10%.
you can turn your whole computer volume up if you need to make us all louder, and then turn it down more again.
Yeah,
if
I
you
was
want.
trying to, but I'm also trying not to fiddle with Adam's setup
Setup.
too much.
Yeah,
So this
Fiddle
is a
away.
work routine, not his personal one. So
that's fine. Well, hopefully
Yeah,
what you've got
it is.
going now will work for now.
anyway, no, it's good. It's good. You guys carry on. I'll
Yeah.
So,
Stuff. Do
Livia,
we see her walking over? Yes. Hello.
you are with Raina, making your way over to the
Mess.
to the mess hall essentially. What do you want to do?
I'm assuming I'm with Raina, like we're walking
Yeah,
together.
you're kind of walking together. It's not like you're arm in arm. She still finds you a little bit odd, but she's happy that you're buying the drinks supposedly, and is sort of quite fast paced making her way to the mess tent.
I guess I'll just making small chat, just asking her like where she's from, how long she's been in the army, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So any sort of deeply personal question, she's batting away a little bit. She gives you the same sort of thing that Ashen told Asteros. Not that I think you heard it. That the squad's been around for a while, Ashen's pretty new to the as their squad leader. He's a sergeant. He's also pretty new to the role of sergeant. I can't fucking there he is. Yeah. He comes with a good background, so like he's been fairly successful. And then she goes into some stories about some of their days in the past with their old leader, and how they came across a monk that helped them out, and their squad was nameless at the time, and in the end they named their squad after his monastery that he came from. They didn't know too much about what he was doing, but they found themselves in a bit of a shit situation. He helped them out of it, so they did it in honor of him, and then he went off his way, and they came back to rejoin the military, having
Do I
completed
recognise
their
the name?
mission at the time. Roll history. I mean, if you just remember that name, then yeah, you do.
I mean, I don't remember the name, but when you said, well, what is the name? When you said it last
Serenity.
week, I remembered it. Serenity was the name of the thing, though, right?
The name of
The-
what?
Serenity Squad, isn't it?
They're
Serenity
called
Squad.
Serenity
Yeah,
Squad.
no, but the monastery was called Serenity, not the dude. I thought.
That's correct.
Yes. Oh, I can't remember his name. I'd ask her about him though. I'd say that we met a guy that seemed to be like a survivor from the Serenity Monastery, and we helped him months ago now. Well, a really long time ago.
Quite a long time ago, yeah.
And I'll just reference it and see it like describe him and see if we come to the conclusion that it's the same guy.
But Sam wasn't.
So you described the guy, and it was a while ago for her, so she will also remember. She's kind of loosely like, yeah, he was bald, and yeah, that sort of like skin tone, and it was a human, but other than that, like she's not matching up everything exactly. But you gather that maybe she just doesn't remember it perfectly.
Fair enough. So I'll ask her what she thinks of Ashen. Can you give me 2 secs? I just need to restart my headset.
Yeah. Sevi's headset is a bit bugged. It breaks and then needs to be restarted to come back in. It's usually pretty quick.
Hmm.
You good?
Who's
We got you?
doing recap this week?
Oh, that's a good question.
Back.
Who's writing the notes?
Who's writing notes? Who did it last?
Lucy.
Well, Lucy, and before that was me, and then before that
Stop
was.
shaking your head. It means
Oh,
it's
it's
your turn.
Auric's turn.
Feel like it's Auric's
Auric's
turn.
Ulrich's turn.
And you were all up for Lucy doing it last week, so I bet she's all up for you doing it this week.
Literally.
There you go. So far, I'm walking with Raina and discussing our past. There you go. That's your first sentence.
Cool. So yes, what was your last question? Sorry, did you said something? What did you think of Ashen?
Yeah, because
So
it's
she says,
I'll just say like because it sounds like you got on really well. Like you got on really well with your squad. It sounds like you had a really good, like you had some really good times with your old leader. So how are you finding the change?
It's been fine. He's a little bit green, so that affords me some time, a bit more downtime, as he's not really sure what to do a lot of the time. It's pretty chill. I like it. How about yours? You've got like a weird situation going on at the moment.
Yeah, really odd. Do you know either? So we kind of switched between the two, Asteros and Aresia. Do you know either of them?
I know Aresia a little bit, and I've heard of Asteros as a
Yeah.
result of his legend.
Tale, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're fine. Asteros is well questionable. He has some strange views, and is a little dated. But I don't know. He gives off an odd impression. One minute he's fine, and the next he's a bit of an idiot. Aresia seems sharp, keeps things close to her chest, but ultimately seems nice and willing to give us a chance, which is all we ever wanted.
Suddenly seems like some of you might be a difficult group to handle.
Well, we're an unusual group, you could say that. How much do you know of our history? It seems like some people around here know everything and some people know nothing.
Well, the rumors are you all killed someone and ended up working for the military as a way to pay off the debt. Most people
not
don't really
wholly incorrect.
recognize the fact that you hold the rank of privates, despite that
I'd say that's
initiation.
fair. Oh yeah, I'd say that's fair. You guys have worked for it a lot longer and probably spent months in training, a lot more than we have. I completely understand that. Yeah, we got caught up in something, and a member of our team, I don't think you've met him yet. His wife was essentially taken from him by they're almost a cult, I guess. And so we spent months tracking them down to try and figure out where she was and see if we could save her. And then eventually, when we were found, they captured us and they slaughtered her in front of us. So a huge battle ensued, and we ended up killing them. Some of them, and I think some of them escaped. But then when we were found, obviously, we looked like we'd come and done a massacre out of nowhere, and thrown him in prison for it until the king got us out and offered us this deal. That's sort of where we're at.
It's pretty heavy. I was kind of looking for more of the top level stuff.
Well, you asked.
You're still
Didn't wanna
paying,
lie.
right? We're almost there.
Yeah.
She leads you down a few of the like back paths between some of the tents that put together. You recognize that she seems to really know where she's going, like proper weaving in and out, and you get the feeling that maybe she was like fully involved in the setup of the camp, which went up pretty quickly. A lot of people were involved in putting it together whilst others had other duties. But Raina specifically seems to really know her way around. She eventually leads you to the mess tent and greets the girl behind the desk. That makes it sound far more formal than it is. It's not like a professional setup in this tent. It's pretty
just, I want
loose,
this.
benches
Here's
and
the
the like.
cash.
Some of them have
Yeah.
kegs nearby at the back, and some people are like drawing those out and putting them into flagons. You see the occasional person that definitely doesn't look that military. It doesn't seem to have any sort of military training. And you gather that there are likely the occasional roles that are just things like a chef for the army. They don't necessarily have to have fought in wars. They would probably have some sort of basic training. But it's much like Kristen, it's perfectly fine to just have a vocation within the military that isn't necessarily fighting. She sits you down and pretty much purchases as much drink as she can get in one go. And
How much does it cost me?
for now, like 3 silver, and you get kind of 3 drinks each. But it's you hear her talk to somebody and say that it's like top grade. She starts to bring something over, and Raina turns to the woman and just goes, no. You know what I need. You know what I'm talking about. Just go get that. Bring it here. You'll be fine. And when she says you'll be fine, you see the girl kind of look her in the eyes and be like, there's like a okay, cool. She comes back with something else. So whilst you guys are about to drink, Aresia, you've just approached Nemea and Taryn, from what you can tell. No, sorry. Just Nemea, from what you can tell. Taryn just went inside.
Okay. And what can I see?
So, to set the scene for you, you are at the southern side of the Starva military forward encampment in the Wandering Wood that you originally found and then basically switched places with Astaros straight away. You then spent a decent amount of time moving up with the military to this point. They'd already been moving forward in your time away, but it takes them a lot longer to move as a result of taking all the stuff down, having so many more men, and all the rest of it. Let me just move this down a bit. Cool. Upon arrival, you were brought in to kind of lead a lot of the rabble in terms of putting up the encampment and making sure that it all went where it was supposed to go. And what you can see now is one of the larger tents that's being used to house those that don't particularly have any specific orders right now, that are likely on their downtime in between watches and stuff like that. So it's generally kind of like the fuck around tent a little bit. Anyone here it probably is deserved of you being like, what the fuck are you doing? Get back to work type thing.
Right.
In front of you is, they're kind of loosely open, the openings to this tent. It's quite tall. It's about like twice your height, maybe 15 to 16 feet tall. And it just has rows of benches in it. I can't remember how many I said last week, 2 or 3 rows of benches. And you see a few people in there. Some of them are passively doing things, like you can hear the sound of sharpening weapons and stuff like that. But it's likely just an excuse so that if you're like, hey, get back to work, they can be like, oh, I'm sharpening these weapons like I'm supposed to be type thing, when realistically they're just fucking around wasting time. You see Nemea just standing out front. You see a dwarven fellow that looks a bit bashed up standing out front. And he seems to be very forthright and as if he's holding a position, even though there isn't really much to hold. You passed Misha on your way over, that you remember from earlier sessions, and she kind of threw you a head nod and carried about her way. And currently Nemea's standing out there a little bit sheepishly. She was predominantly being led by Asteros, but Asteros passed her and was out front, but then spoke to you. You've told him what you need to tell him, and he's moved on his way.
Is Nemea on her own?
She is, seemingly.
Okay. Nemea, good to see you again, my dear.
Captain Arrest. I didn't know you'd
Aresia's
be
fine.
here.
Too many titles.
Thank
Where is everybody else?
Taryn's just gone inside this tent, and Livia's off with a woman we need to get some information from. Also, this is our chicken, Agatha. Because she's strapped to my chest right now. I'm pretty sure.
Wait.
She
I've been
leaves for how long? And look what happened.
I've been wanted it for a while, but not that long in the great scheme of things. Why on earth do you guys have a chicken?
I believe that's an answer for Livia to give you.
I could sell it.
Yeah. That's surprising. I thought she was a sensible one in the group.
She has a soft
Oh,
spot when
no.
it comes to animals.
Wait a moment. I know what this is. You guys are very clever. I understand.
Oh?
Kavanagh is a cook. This is
Oh?
for lunch. I understand. I'm partial to chicken myself. Oh, when are we having it?
Oh, this is she's a laying hen.
I mean, we don't know.
We're using her for eggs.
You're
Fresh
bringing her
eggs.
for eggs. What did you say her name was?
Agatha.
Tabitha?
Agatha.
Amanda?
Agatha. For eggs. Egg. Agatha.
I'm not going to remember that.
Okay, that's fine. You can call her chicken.
If she's the chicken, okay. Anyway, chicken aside, I'll have to ask Lightwood what she's doing with this chicken. You said Taryn's in this tent?
Yes, just this way. I'll come in here.
Okay, let's just go find out what he's up to.
So as you guys
Walk into the tent.
pass through the tent, Vice, make a dex save. Very low DC.
That one, Aresia punches you in the face accidentally.
Hang on.
You were already where Nemea and Aresia were, Vice. So you heard that whole thing.
Okay, because I thought I was halfway between leaving.
No, because when you tapped Livia, it was pretty early on. It was kind of as she passed out, like as she left the tent and started her walk, and she sent you back almost immediately, which is why you saw the whole Taran fight thing from last session. And as a result, you've sort of been out the front of the tent waiting for something to properly listen to since then,
Okay.
up until this happened. As you're listening in, Nemea pretty much turns and is about to walk into you, and at the very last second you manage to step out the way, only just, almost falling yourself, and kicking up a bit of kind of dirt in the process. Fortunately, Aresia's already kind of forthrightly passed through the tent. I want to say doors, but it's the wrong word. And they seem to have headed inside. I assume you follow.
I will, yeah.
Okay. So inside, the doors, they loosely kind of hold open, slightly flapping in the wind, slightly like tied back a little bit. So you can see inside at any one point, really. On a bench off to the side, the three of you or the two of you from what everyone else can see, can see Taran sitting across the way from a young... Oh, let me just see what he actually looks like. Yes, a young human... Nope, not human, half-elf man. Who seems to be a little bit uneasy and is currently just having a conversation with Taran. Did you speak to him last session, Taran?
No, it was literally as the session ended was me.
Is this a Laylor?
So, yes. So as they're having this conversation outside, what are you two speaking to each other about?
I'd sort of walk up quite, like, I look a bit, like sort of pumped up, but I look very beaten because I've just had my ass handed to me. So I just sort of go up to him and just be like, "Hi there, I hear you're a Laylor, the caster, Miss Scott. Yeah."
Oh, yes, I am. Are you in need of some sort of aid?
Oh no, I'm fine. I had a wonderful fight with your friend, the dwarf fellow.
Oh, I see. Terribly sorry. He is unfortunately always like that.
Yeah, to be fair, I started it, so.
Oh, how very unwise. That that explains your appearance. Is there something I can help you with?
What was the
No, I'm
dwarf's
just
name?
getting to know everyone, and
Melda.
I'm assuming, like, what sort of bit is he sat at? Like, just a small table.
So there's kind of 3 rows of benches. I'm going with 3. I don't remember what I said last week. And it's like 3 benches in each row. He's right at the end of one. Raina was near him, but she left. And Raina, I believe, was sharpening some weapons, but she's left them aside. There's just sort of sword ends in a barrel that she seems to be sharpening up before the hilts and handguards and then hilts are attached. And then probably a pommel, because that's how a sword works. He is mostly by himself. He has 2 or 3 books on the table in front of him. And he... Well, I can't remember whether or not you were there when he spoke to Nemea.
No, I wasn't.
No. So he just has a frosty look to him. He doesn't look incredibly inviting.
Well, yeah, I'll just sort of sit slightly askew from him and just be like, no, I'm coming here to get, like, my squad. We're getting to know the people. I don't know if you've met any of the others. One of them's a tiefling, purple fellow, or lady. Sorry.
Yes, she breeds chickens or something to that ilk.
She's like the chicken lady, and she's not even the chicken lady. Which
I
love.
know, it's so joke. Like, how'd that even
Nemea
happen?
loves chickens. I just don't get why.
Not exactly my cup of tea, and to be honest, I felt that way before I saw the chicken.
Yeah, well, she's lovely. Can't wait to eat the chicken. Could be delicious. So yeah, thought I'd get to know you. Like, I can do a bit of magic, so could always learn something a little bit.
Oh, I see. Are you quite adept in magic? Is there perhaps something I could learn, or...?
I'm not too sure if I'm adept. I'm not entirely sure of your... Like, could I discern any kind of, like, skill level?
Roll Arcana.
Okay.
You're gonna need to roll high, because...
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably roll Insight if you wanted to. Let me know. I'll give you the choice, Arcana or Insight. Just let me know what you're rolling.
Feel like... Insight would be more to get a sort of discerning look from him to see if he seems a bit more like...
Arcana's going to give you, like, whether or not you are picking up on any sort of magical aura. Insight's going to give you how powerful he seems based on how he comes across to you as a person.
Yeah, I wanna get that view of more of him rather than just any magical energy. So
yeah,
that would be my insight. 10, that great.
Okay, cool. So he's a little bit confusing to you because he speaks very properly, and he seems sure of himself in his wording, and yet somehow there's quite an uneasy temperament to him, and as a result, you're not really sure where you'd place his capabilities.
Yeah, I would say
Sorry, I don't mean to. Out of game, Josh. Like, are you able to discuss spells? Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah, so spells
Like,
exist.
Could theoretically
Spell
Tara
books
be like, oh,
exist.
well, I know these spells, like blah blah blah.
Yeah,
you know
I would
them.
say that, like,
Or is that a bit
specifically,
I don't know.
my preference would be referencing the spells based on their effects rather than simply saying I know the fireball spell. It would probably make more sense
Yeah.
to say like, oh, I'm capable of a spell that explodes a small
Ball of
contained
fire.
portion of fire, that sort of thing. But
Okay.
Shitty nickname like I know this explodey spell.
a
It
lot of
explodes chickens.
some
Nothing
of the
else.
some of the spells are named
Sorry, I wasn't trying to
after.
interrupt, Ulrich.
That's
I was,
fine.
just wondering.
Some of the spells are named after wizards of note from the past. I think the official raw lore is that there was a circle of, I'm going to say 9, but it might be 7, of like 9 really powerful wizards that then disappeared into kind of obscurity. I don't know the lore well enough to say what happened to them, but one of them is, I think, Meldor, because there's like Meldor's acid arrow or something like that. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I'm on the spell list anyway. Oh, they've just called it acid arrow. I swear there's one that's like acidy
Yeah, I know
arrows
exactly
and it has
what
the
you're on
wizard's
about.
name at the front. But yeah, so yes, you could reference them by name. No, not everybody's going to know the name. It's probably more likely that you would describe them in ability.
Okay, cool.
Or,
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, like description.
Sure. So,
So Taryn, you discern that he seems to be, not simple. You're guessing that he's at least mid-level capable. Whether or not he's weaker or stronger than you in terms of his magical capabilities, you're uncertain.
yeah, I'd say like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure like what sort of level you're at. I've been here for many years, but my skills have dwindled since I've been locked away for a little while. But yeah, I can do things like shooting sparks out of my hands. And I can thrust up water from the ground. Haven't really used that one though. Doesn't seem
Interesting.
to have a lot of uses. But yeah, I got a
Do
few.
you have any sort of texts? Do you have any scrolls about you? Perhaps I could peruse them.
I have a few notes here. Yeah. Off. Case I think was written.
You're cutting in and out a bit there. I think you just need to talk a little bit louder.
Yeah. Scroll case, so I just sort of pulled that out and opened it up and then put a couple of scrolls of notes and things that
I don't know what has happened to the quality of your mic, but you have gone poo.
don't even know.
Sounds like you're underwater.
Oh no, I'm underwater.
Oh,
No,
no,
it's
there you
better
go.
now.
Now it's back to normal.
So he sees the scroll case. He has one too, and he goes, "Oh, okay. Perhaps I could have a look over what you have, if you don't mind."
Yeah, I'm always excited to share some knowledge. Haven't been able to do so in a while.
What scrolls do you have?
Well, there's a scroll case of notes, but I guess I would get out if anything like I've got a lightning bolt scroll, mending. I just sort of like, because I look kind of like a giddy child that's trying to tell his dad about all the drawings he's done. So I'm just sort of grabbing all of my stuff and just spraying it all over the place, just like, please look.
So as
Yay.
you spread out some of these texts, he kind of looks over some of the bits that are more notes based. He sees the lightning bolt scroll, sees the description at the top of what the spell is roughly named and how it describes it, and you see him kind of furrow his brow slightly as he looks at it.
Furrow, yep.
Furrow, yeah. He kind of furrows his brow slightly as he seems to not fully understand some of the wording, and he reads part of it and then audibly kind of says like, it's quite confusing, and he looks over at the other one and he's like, yes, I'm familiar with this, and he looks at the mending scroll and goes, I'd quite like some time to study this if possible. I could purchase this from you. Are you looking to sell it on at all?
Which one specifically is he looking at?
The mending scroll.
Oh, the mending one. Yeah, as a gesture of goodwill, I'd be like, yeah, if you've got anything to trade for it, any other kind of spell scroll or something, if you might have something.
Oh well, I've been writing some of my own understandings so far. I could let you have a look at those. And he opens his scroll case and starts getting some scrolls out. He has 3 scrolls. He has a scroll that describes the spell Chill Touch. He has a spell that
Spell.
describes
We love a
the
spell.
spell
Love a
prestidigitation,
That is
Spell.
spell.
and he has another that describes the True Strike spell. I'm quite familiar with all three of these. I actually penned this a bit of information myself. So if you're willing to make a simple trade for one of these, I'd be quite happy to oblige.
Would assume, like, from looking at these, do I have a good grasp of what these spells are?
So Chill Touch is 120 feet, and it does a little bit of damage. And then the enemy
Are they all
can't
first
regain
level?
hit. They're all cantrips, and then
okay.
the enemy can't regain health until the start of your next turn. There's some factors there that I'm not fully reading. I assume you're familiar with prestidigitation and everything it can do. True Strike is about hitting somebody so that on your next turn you have advantage. So if it goes through, you have advantage on your next turn. I think that it just happens. I don't think you have to roll for... Yeah, so True Strike just happens, and then on your next turn you have advantage. I don't think it gives anyone else advantage on them. But you have to
Taran would
maintain concentration on it.
Yeah, I imagine he would have a moment where he just thinks back to that fight where he got his ass handed to him, and he'd look at the True Strike one and look a bit like, yeah, oh, I could use this. I will gladly trade you for this one.
I'm uncertain as to whether or not all of them are available to everyone. I don't know if they're just wizards
They're
or
available
what.
to sorcerers, all of them, because of...
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was looking on something that was already like designated them as the wizard spell list. So yeah. So you specify the True Strike spell, and he looks at you and he says, "Ah, yes, quite useful. That's perfectly good. We have a deal, my friend." And he reaches out to kind of shake your hand.
I will fake it.
Okay. He shakes your hand. He rolls the True Strike scroll
With your
back
black
up,
hand.
and he passes it over to you. Gloved. He doesn't focus on it too much. And the trade is done. You get the True Strike's cantrip scroll, and he receives the mending one from you. And it's at about this point that the other 3/2, from what you can see, approach you. And I would say at this point, Vice, you've lost about half an hour on the invisibility spell.
So I've only got half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody hell.
So we walked in at this point, Josh.
So you guys have just approached Taryn, Aresia, Nemea, and technically Vice, but nobody can see Vice.
Okay.
I
Taran
guess
Harvard.
Aresia doesn't even know that he's there, does she?
I don't.
No, Aresia doesn't know Vice is gone, not there, or anything.
Lol.
Ah, Lieutenant! Hello!
So he
Hello.
said lieutenant. I was like, who?
Yeah, Lieutenant, man, come on.
What's going on here? Scrolls strewn everywhere.
Oh yeah, sorry. Getting nice into conversation. This is Alelo, I believe your name was, yes?
It is, yes. Terribly sorry, Lieutenant. I'll have this tidied away post haste. And he begins kind of wrapping up the rest of his stuff, putting it back in the spell scroll. I can't say that. I can't say it. Forget it. I'll have somebody else fill in for me. Putting away in a cylindrical container that he has.
On the paper.
And then he kind of puts his head down and starts reading the book that he has open once more, trying to not get your attention too much.
Okay. Very good. Parvus, if we could have a quick word, and I gesture to Nemea and Taran to step aside so we're out of
Yeah, sure.
bookworm's ear. Yep.
Okay. I'll just sort of look up and look down and then realise that all my stuff's still out there, so I'll just sort of bundle it up and put it back right, yes.
As you look around Aresia, you can see a few other people in this kind of holding tent as well that are presumably off duty. And as such, you head back outside to the slightly quieter area just in front of the tent to have this conversation.
Okay.
Aresia,
Yes.
have you swapped places with our other fellow?
Well, I was
Or is he coming
hoping.
back?
Yeah, so I was hoping to assemble you all so I wouldn't have to repeat myself, but as the two of you are here at the moment, yes, the sergeant has actually been called away on other
Okay.
business. He's been required to write some training materials due to his years and years and years and years and years and years experience as a sergeant.
Oh man.
I feel like Vice needs to make a con save.
Well,
What? Oh, do I need to? Should I do it?
Give me a con save.
Because I'm laughing.
Yeah, quite possibly. We'll see.
Oh my God.
No. Come on. Oh, wait.
Can I roll perception?
Man.
Well, you both have passive perception above an 8. There's an audible chuckle from nearby that seems to come from nowhere. Why don't Alessia and Nemea roll Arcana?
I want me to roll.
Oh
Why are you getting
no.
her to roll Arcana?
And
It's a
Taran.
Oh, you're lucky it's my weak one.
I have magic now. Haha. Shit.
Oh.
Dang it!
I love that she's
Didn't
going to roll
talk
higher
to
than him.
Okay, so as you all hear this somewhere off to the side, you look around, see nothing, and then just kind of bat it off as like, I mean, you're in the middle of a military base. There are people around you. It's not unheard of that
People
some
laugh.
laughter heard
Could have been
from
from outside the
off in the
tent.
distance.
Who do you know?
That sounded like someone was right next to me. That's very odd.
Very busy cat.
Yes, so while the sergeant is away, I will be taking command of the group once more.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you. I'm pleased to see you again, although the chicken is a surprise. And Parvis, you weren't quite as black and blue as the last time I saw you.
Yeah. I had a fight.
What?
It was pretty good.
Are you sure it doesn't look like it was for you?
Oh no, I
He's
lost.
got like a
I
swollen
enjoyed
eye.
it a lot. I made a good friend. Name's Meldar. Small dwarf fella.
You can kind of see
Very-
him off to the side. He's like about 20 to 40 feet away from you at this point. Let's call it 30. He's
I'll just point over in that direction. Just that guy.
I'm going to wave and say, "Good evening, Meldar."
he looks over to you and just goes, "Oh, it's the middle of the day, Lieutenant, but okay."
Is it? I thought it was night.
Well, it's kind of like mid-afternoon.
Oh, always a smart ass. I see you.
3 p.m. maybe?
I don't know. All right.
+1.
It's evening somewhere. I see you're breaking in one of my troops.
Oh, aye. You've got yourself a feisty lad there.
I'll sort of do a like nice gesture of like hello.
I glare at Tara.
So gross.
What?
If you spar again, please go a little bit easier on him.
Oh, burn.
Oh,
Certainly, miss. No, not a problem.
It's like a massacre, isn't it? Loving it.
love a good spot.
Father,
He's like, no, don't go easy on
for
me.
now, no more fights. No unnecessary fights.
But
please.
if they're necessary,
They'll be necessary if I tell you they're necessary. Don't pick fights with our dwarf allies, please. So, where is Lightwood and Kavanagh?
Kavanagh was off looking for the lady we were looking for, and Lightwood found her. And I believe they're heading towards the mess hall. Do you know
Oh,
where
they're
that
together,
is?
are they? Hmm,
Yes.
I see.
Do you know your
Doesn't
way
surprise
around
me.
this encampment?
What'd you say? Sorry, what did you say? The mayor?
Do you know your way around this encampment? Do you know where the mess hall is? I'm sure that's where they were heading.
Well, as much as anybody does. It's a fairly standard setup. Although
You
I
know
do
the mess
forget you
halls.
guys aren't familiar with the military.
Yeah, you know the mess hall's roughly in the center. You could definitely make your way there happily enough.
Well, how long has Lightwood been gone?
About 20 minutes?
It's about
20 minutes?
It's about 30-ish minutes, maybe a little bit more.
Hmm.
Maybe 30.
I look as if I'm trying to recall what's happened, but my head hurts a bit, so I'm just like,
Astaroth's advised that you're trying to get information on the Serenity Squad. Were either of you successful?
Unfortunately, the chicken is kind of an encumbrance, and
Blame the fucking chicken.
The exact same look passes over Taryn's face of
I look down at the chicken. He touches his sore eye, and we both just shake our
I
heads.
just shake my head at them like, oh. Right. Okay. Well, let's make our way over to the mess hall and see what we can see.
So as you guys head on over, it'll take you about kind of 20, 30 minutes to get there. Vice?
Who's how are they moving? Are they walking the line? They walking behind? Can I grab one of them? One of the guys?
You could...
Not an attack. Not an attack.
No, I didn't think it was.
Me out. No.
And hits you in the back of the head.
Can I just grab one of the... Yeah, certainly, Nemea, you're stabbed through the heart as you die instantly.
Oh.
Yeah,
is killed.
yeah.
No!
It like goes through Nemea's heart and just happens to slit Agatha's throat on the other side. It's the most damage Vice has done outside of a thunder wave.
Anything that I love in this game.
Oh my god, Thunderwave is going to destroy Agatha.
Shut up!
Oh man.
Possibly
Oh my
cook her
gosh.
all in the same
That is a
time.
good point.
So as you guys begin to head on over, as I was saying, it takes about like 20 to 30 minutes to get there. Vice, pretty early on, you can see the group is kind of haphazardly having to... They're kind of moving as a sort of cluster unit. They're not like moving in line, but they have to maneuver around carts and people passing by. So if you wanted to kind of tap one and try and pull them away a little bit, you could certainly do so.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to tap or Nemea. I want to talk to Nemea briefly.
Nemea, something taps your elbow that you can't see.
Ice cream?
Nemea, what are you doing, man? Don't scream.
You all right?
Like, Nemea, listen.
Captain.
I'm about halfway through. My spell is gonna go. It's gonna go off.
Expire.
I'm gonna come back to. It's gonna expire. Thank you.
Thank you, Fox.
It's gonna expire in about.
Go off!
Nice.
I'm gonna blow up!
Where's your face?
I've only got about half of the time left, about 30 minutes or so. So we
Given-
need to hurry this up.
Given that she screamed, I feel like both Taryn and Aresia, you guys are like loosely looking back and
Possibly.
seeing Nemea sort of talking to herself.
I did call back to her.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't stopped. Nobody's stopped. But you can see Nemea talking to someone.
Blame it on the chicken.
She is
Blame it on
holding
the
a chicken.
Nemea, blame it on the chicken.
Okay, chicken. Yeah, chicken.
You, aside from her mumbling, you hear her just sort of
No.
say chicken as you carry on walking.
But chickens!
It's getting weirder.
Well, I just
You're losing
sort
your
of,
mind. Nemea's losing
Hey,
her mind.
are you hungry? Are you hungry? That's okay.
I just
Don't
want
worry,
to
we're
sort
going
of
to the mess
tap
hall.
on Aresia's shoulder because I would have kind of gathered what's happening. I'd just be like, Vice is invisible right now. It's probably
Come again?
invisible.
Oh my god.
Probably trying to communicate.
I want to attack.
Oh.
I want to attack him so bad.
I'm just going to stop dead in my tracks and look around. Where is
Somewhere over there,
do I look like-
presumably.
But
What?
no one really knows.
If he tries to
Just-
talk
never
to you-
mind.
I'm walking around. I want to walk around the other side of Aresia and whisper and say, "I'm right here." Hello, Lieutenant.
Talk to the chicken.
I
Captain,
say
just look
this
at the
to you,
chicken.
but, I can't.
What's that?
I say
What'd you
this to
say?
you, but I can't. Please,
Oh.
please forewarn me. I don't like being scared like that, please.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, I just lost some years of my life.
I just sort of start to head off a bit, like slightly go ahead, and I'm just like, oh, that's sweet.
I'm gonna carry on walking alongside Lieutenant and talk, please.
Okay.
So,
I didn't know you could become invisible.
did I not mention this to you before? Like when you were
No,
probing
no,
us
I
for
don't
probing
remember.
us for our abilities?
No, we have not gone through that, and
Okay.
I've never
I
known
see.
that.
I see. What?
How often do you go invisible?
Not
time, every
often. Not often, but you know, it depends on if it's required or not.
Oh, has it been required since I've met you, aside from now?
Once,
God, people.
once before, but like nothing. No, it was for nothing important. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay, please do let me know when you're going to be invisible.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't want to be
Yes.
up to anything sordid.
I apologize, Lieutenant, but I was already invisible before you arrived. I don't know. I couldn't have given you
Caught me
any
with a short
warning.
stout.
I
That's
could
all
not
I
have
could
given
do.
you any warning. I apologize.
I mean that is fair enough, I suppose.
As you guys are walking, there is the occasional person walking close enough to you, Aresia, to notice that you seem to be talking to nothing. Given that Taran has moved a bit away from you, kind of forward on, and the mayor is trailing a little bit behind, you see about 3 people at different times kind of look at you, see you sort of speaking to something, and then kind of lower their heads, mostly out of respect of being like, well, she's definitely not gone mental, so it must be something else.
Do
And
I
that,
stop them?
yeah, you can see them doing it, but you also see that almost all of them, having kind of like lowered their heads or just generally looked away to sort of give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit, have then immediately seen the mayor holding a chicken and just generally have a weird look on their face before they kind of walk past the group collectively.
Don't worry, everybody. We're just writing some new material. A lieutenant, a tiefling, and a chicken walk into a tent.
Oh my god.
I really need to get a night's sleep.
I
Why
want to
did they
continue. I
pick
want to
this
continue.
group?
I want to continue. I want to continue talking to Lieutenant. Yeah, right, Lieutenant. Don't say anything. Don't respond. Just listen to what I'm saying. We're on a recon mission. I'm on it right now. Obviously, I know the guys really kind of briefed you a little bit. I've only got 30 minutes left, so we really need to hurry this along to get the information that we need. Just to let you know. Ask the guys what the plans are, so you don't look crazy talking to nobody. Yeah. And then they can let you know what's happening.
Wonderful.
And then that's it.
Okay.
Carry on. I disperse. I kind of move with the group, but not right next to her anymore.
Thank you.
As you kind of say that over your shoulder, there's like a half-elf guy standing there with a big broadsword that's just like, I didn't do any, and then you kind of walk past him.
Everyone hears the sound of what sounds like my palm hitting my forehead. Like
We see a few people in the surrounding area look down as if they possibly dropped something, and then just go back to what they were doing.
Right. So, Parvis and the mayor.
What?
Oh, why am I whispering to you?
Yes.
You're right in front of me. So, how far are we from the mess hall?
You're about like 5-ish minutes away.
Okay. So, I want to be on standby near the mess hall. I don't necessarily want to barge right in, especially if Lightwood is successful in getting some information.
That's fine by me. I'll stay
Target.
outside. I don't think the chicken's allowed in.
I don't think the chicken is allowed in either.
why doesn't I can't speak. Sorry.
Why not?
No! I thought I was away.
Right. So here's what I propose. Parvis,
Yeah.
if you and any spirits that want to fly with you want to go into so just go into there and don't attract attention. I don't want you to approach Lightwood. I want you to go in there and have a drink or something.
As I mentioned spirits, I look sort of down my hand.
Oh, I'm just thinking, what?
What?
Sorry, say that again, Taryn. You hear spirits and you say what?
I look down at my hand. I'm just sort of like, but I'm not a necromancer. Wait, what spirit? What? But then I just sort of
well, if you were a necromancer, you would bring the spirits with you, wouldn't you?
Uh-huh. So drink, yes? Cool.
Go
I
get
don't
a drink.
understand what is happening.
You're not there, so it doesn't matter.
I don't say.
Hello?
Is it me? Or...
Hello, Lieutenant. What's up?
Oh,
Sorry, I came around the other side of you.
I want you to go into the tent with others, and I want you to go near Livia and find out what's being said. I
Okay.
want you to search what's going on.
Okay, that was planned already.
I really want somebody to just be like here to Aresia that she's like barely even knows, just being like, okay, but nobody would get that close to you.
Lieutenant, a chicken and a chicken cannot walk into that mess hall. We cannot.
Okay, no,
Up to
I
you.
understand. I understand.
You've only got 20
yeah.
minutes or so left, right?
About 25 minutes.
Okay. Both of you just go in there and just get what info you can. I don't know what you've done so far. I've walked in the middle of this. I know that Livia's with Raina and she probably needs help discerning information. So if you need to, I don't know, spike Raina's drink, whatever you need to do
What?
when she's not looking, I don't know. Just
Okay.
Go.
Yes,
So
all right.
in the meantime, Livia, you sit across from Raina. She's finished like 2.5 drinks and has noticed that you're still on your first and is like going a bit slower to let you catch up.
I will speed up my drink a little bit.
Okay. As she's sort of watching you drink, she's like, so, what's your deal anyway? You're like, it's not normal to just go around asking people what they're doing and under the guise of, I don't know what, making friends with other squads. It's weird, and I feel like it's kind of what Asteros was doing too, and that's really weird for him.
What do you mean? Oh, what you mean? It's weird for Asteros to go around snooping and talking to people.
I mean, I didn't necessarily say snooping, but I mean, yeah, talking to people a little bit.
Yeah, no, he is odd. To be honest, I'm
That's it.
not really sure. I think we don't really know what we're doing in this place. I think we all just want to like get out of the army as soon as possible, and we're just following orders. So I don't know. He wanted to go and talk to your captain or lieutenant. What, I'm not too sure what.
He's a sergeant.
Sergeant, sorry. I don't know. The vibe I'm getting is that something's funny about your sergeant, but I mean, you know him better than I do.
Oh,
I just, to be honest, was kind of bored of him and wanted a break, and you seemed the most normal.
I mean, he's no Borum. Borum was better than he is, I suppose, but it's just because he's new, He's just taking anything that comes his way. Any superior that asks him to do something, we have to do it. Normally, you get, a few orders every now and then, and you complete the task, you come back, sometimes you get paid, sometimes there's a little bit extra. Usually, it's just your duty, and it's kind of what goes down.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was under the impression that he was in trouble for something, but maybe I misunderstood or had the wrong thing.
I don't think so.
Something about a broken cart. He had a broken cart.
Oh, this
when you
again.
Guys were traveling. I don't know. It wasn't me. Like I said, I just wanted a break. Why? What do you mean this again? What did he do?
Listen, Ashen asked Meldar to go fix a wheel on a cart on the way up to get to this stupid base that we're at. I don't know, maybe Meldar used his face as he's inclined to do, and shortly afterwards...
Is he the dwarf, Meldar?
Yeah, dwarven fellow. Has a couple axes on his waist.
Right. So he was meant to fix your wheel, but didn't?
Wasn't our wheel, just somebody else was using the cart. Serenity squad's moving along, holding a tight formation. Everything fine. Ashen tells us that somebody has to go fix this thing. It's company stuff, part of the military.
Yeah.
Meldar went over. Next thing we know, the wheel's broken off, the cart falls down. Bunch of things got broke. I think some of the food fell into the mud and wasn't recoverable. Everyone kicked off about it. It was proper bullshit.
Oh, that seems a bit stupid to get so stressy over.
I mean, people have been talking about it a lot, I suppose, because it was annoying, but it's not like we're the only ones that broke something on the way over, you know? You can't move a military that's used to fending off bandits into the fucking woods. And she kind of looks around, albeit you're in a tent, she, like, could see out through the doorways, without, you know, passing over roots and shitty terrain. Let alone there was some fucking weirdness with definite scouts. I'm telling you now, people were watching us. And then she looks
What do you mean, like?
She looks over to the girl behind the thing and just kind of motions for her to bring more over, and she eventually comes over with a few more flagons for Raina.
What do you mean you're being watched by, like, your own people? Or, like,
No, you know, we're
elves in the woods or something?
Yeah, like the elves. We're in enemy territory.
Oh, yeah, no, we came across some... We got chased down when we were on our way up here by a big bunch of elves.
Yeah. Tiny bunch of weirdos. We'll kill them all. It'll be fine. This is going to be an easy one for Starvin.
Rest in peace.
How did you know you were being watched?
You see stuff in the bushes that's kind of high up. Like, there's not a lot that's kind of high up in a tree that doesn't shake a whole bunch of birds. When you see some rustling kind of, I don't know, 2/3 up a tree and a whole bunch of animals don't move, that's probably a person. I don't do a lot of tracking. We leave the sort of more technical stuff to either a Laylor to, I don't know, apply some sort of fancy purple shit mist to it, or Meldor to cut it straight up down, but...
That's fair enough.
I
Maybe
don't know.
everyone's just a bit uptight from the journey. I mean, it's a fucking shit journey to come through all the woods. Like you said, uprooting everyone and trekking through this place, it's a pile of crap. Maybe everyone's just stressing over the little things.
All it is Ashen's new as a sergeant, and he's literally taking any work from anyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. What happened to your old guy?
He died. Bore him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens. You know, we're not traders here. I don't carry this thing for fun. And she kind of like pats a sword on her waist.
What made you want to join the army?
Decent wage. Get to travel a little bit, I suppose.
Didn't fancy yourself a weave or anything then? And I half grin while I take a drink.
I know how to
She
break
doesn't
stuff
seem like the
and
type
cut stuff. I'm not too good at...
making stuff.
Sure. Not built
Fair
for
enough.
baking bread, you know?
So what do you think of your guys in your team? I mean, Meldor seems pretty hard-ass.
No, he's a good guy.
Meldor?
Good guy. Meldar.
Have you all been in the same squad the whole time, or
Yep.
like does it change?
Since we're all privates, I got promoted not too long ago, and sort of came up with the other two, Meldar and Laylor. We knew Borum from when we were inducted. He was assigned our squad at the time, didn't have a name. Pretty successful. We got a bit too deep one time, and he ended up taking a few more arrows than one usually can, and unfortunately, that was the end of his work.
That's not good. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, it happens.
What about a Laylor? He looks like a bookie fellow. We've got Taran in my team's obsessed with the things. Permanently is attached to a book left, right, and center if he can't be.
Yeah, I don't read too much. I leave him with the books, but, you know, he can burn stuff occasionally, fixes things. Can be handy, and she kind of shows you one of her, like, leather gauntlets, and she points at a seam that has, like, a line. It almost looks like a fold more than anything else.
Okay.
And she says, friend of his did this for me, actually. He says that he'll be able to do it himself soon enough. He's been looking into it for a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey,
have,
it's
like,
handy to have.
A trade of your own, or are you more the fighting type?
I am a corporal of the Starver military. I know how to use this thing, and she looks down at her sword this time. That's all the trade I need, honey.
Makes sense. Sounds good. Can I insight her just to get a feel for like?
Yeah, sure,
how
roll
honest I
insight.
feel like she's being in general about the conversation. 18.
Okay. She seems pretty genuine. You can tell that there is a like she's sort of suppressing deeper emotions as she talks about things. Like when she talks about Borum, it's kind of nonchalant, but you can tell that she did like him.
Yeah.
And when she talks about Ashen, again, she kind of says it like, oh, it's not his fault type thing, but you can tell that she's annoyed that like he's just accepting any work from anyone.
So, what kind of jobs have you been on lately? And you said you weren't on anything now, right? Or maybe it was Ashen that said to Asteros that you guys aren't on mission at the moment.
Yeah, with the move, it's been mostly just doing that. And then my understanding is that they're looking for people to scout out a bit more. There's some shit job
Yeah.
going round about a lake. We're not doing that.
How come?
I
Not a
mean,
swimmer.
this shit's expensive, and she kind of looks down at her armor. She's wearing sort of medium armor, but there's definitely elements of like metal parts, like some plate parts of it. She's like, this stuff doesn't mix, and I can't breathe under there. And like, even when you drink that stuff that lets you, it's weird. I don't like it.
Oh, have you had it before?
I've heard the stories.
Ooh. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Maybe I'll talk to the others about doing the scouting instead.
I think they've probably got it covered, but you could always use people to go out and generally kill a couple of the enemy.
Oh no, I just know Asteros was saying to us that we were going to be asked to go out on mission, so I'm assuming it'll be one of those. I think we're meeting back up with them later this afternoon.
It's usually not an ask, but yeah. It's at about this point that the rest of you come in. I don't know if you're coming in, Noresia, but Taryn and Nemea do.
I said that myself and the mayor and the chicken would stay outside.
Okay, so you send Taryn in.
I sent Taryn in, and Vice is meant to be following him.
Okay.
Can I ask? Is the entrance open plan in a way, or is there like a kind of like a sheet or something that has to be moved? Basically, do I need to wait for like a wind to blow or something for me to kind of get in without?
You managed to follow Taryn close enough that you don't need to. So
I would open the sheet enough for you.
Yeah, like he knows you're coming type thing.
Okay,
So I
good.
sort of envision it like this, like a square with benches in the arrangement that I have, and then the tent doors are kind of like this, a little bit open. And then Livia and Raina are here, and you guys have come in here.
Bit.
Huh?
Where roughly is the bar sort of section?
It's kind of back left where the girl is, like here. Bar.
Yeah, I imagine it's as I come in, I would sort of shoot a look over towards Raina and Olivia and just sort of do a little sort of salute, hello,
Yeah,
because I imagine she would have seen me.
because of
before,
her orientation, she kind of sees you over Livia's shoulder and just says to Livia, "Is like, oh hey, your friend's here."
I'll just sort of nod and be like, oh yeah, and sort of give him a half wave and then like carry on.
Yeah, I head for the bar.
Okay, you head over. There's a girl there. She seems quite like meek and just going about her day. Anything I can get you?
Oops, sorry, carry on.
Sorry?
Anything I can get you?
What kind of things you got? I know it's probably not anything interesting, it's military, but might as well get an option.
Rations, water, something harder if you got the coin. And she kind of like looks you up and down a little bit, kind of uncertain as to whether or not you're cool enough for this.
What hard things you got? Get.
Fucking hell.
How much coin you got?
I pull out a little sort of pouch and I look kind of semi-sad at it as I jingle it about, and I'm just sort of like, not much.
She looks at you and she's just like, maybe you left a slightly shinier coin on the table here, and pretty sure there's a bottle over there we don't need.
I'll get 1 gold piece. And just sort of give her a slight look of just like, this one?
As you like put it down, she kind of slides it away, and she points over at a bottle that seems to be like unmarked in any fashion, outside from being like dirtied glass, and it seems to contain some sort of brownish liquid inside at the other end of the bar. And she just goes, I think that one, it's spoiled. It needs to go. So if you want to dispose of it for us, not a problem.
Sure thing. I know some spell. I can get rid of that. No problem. I'll go and just sort of yank it up, and then just slightly behind me, I'll do a sort of gesture of like, gotcha.
So you have a bottle of not great tasting whiskey.
Yeah.
Olivia, you were saying something?
No, I was gonna have some like more chill conversation with her. That's
Okay.
also like up, like what's her like drink and what are we drinking and.
So you guys have this back and forth. Essentially, the crux of what she tells you, the only kind of key points to really take away in terms of your investigation are that their old sergeant died on mission. Their new sergeant is very new to being a sergeant, and he seems to be accepting any job from anywhere.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who's giving it to him, as long as they outrank him, he's taking it on. And that whilst there is a level of respecting the ranks above you, there's not a case normally.
There's a haphazardness about that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
unusual.
not normal to simply accept everything that you're desperately trying to please, because usually there's enough people in the military that jobs would be assigned to somebody who's capable and everything would be dealt with, rather than one person desperately clawing for any kind of work they could get to. So yeah, that's the crux of it. Taryn, are you doing anything, or Vice, are you doing anything?
At the moment, I just want to stand and observe right now. I just want to see, wait for an opportunity.
Cool. So you've missed the majority of the conversation that Raina and Livia had because they left so much earlier than everyone else. At this point, they're just sort of speaking niceties. Taryn, did you want to do anything?
Quick. I didn't miss anything, did I?
I was just asking if you wanted to do anything specific whilst you're in here, outside of drinking your bottle of whiskey.
Is anyone sat towards, that sort of second table next to Livia and Raina?
No, it's pretty dead. The whole place is kind of... Oh, I should have done this as one continuous piece. The whole room is pretty quiet, just because...
It's early in the day.
Yeah, it's kind of late in the day, if anything. It's about like mid to late afternoon, almost early evening. So it's a bit quieter in here, but it's never that busy in here from what you've seen.
Oh, so
You're cutting out a lot. Did you say you just sit down?
yeah, and I'll take a nice big swig of my fucky whiskey.
Okay, give me a Constitution save. There isn't much else to be gained from here. Aresia and Nemea, you guys are standing out front as the rest have gone in and been in for like 5 or 10 minutes now. You've got about 15 minutes left on your spell, Vice. Taryn,
Okay.
It's not great. You can see why people would continue to drink it. It doesn't, like, you're not throwing up or anything, like you keep it down happily enough. But you both see the appeal and recognize that nicer stuff probably exists all in one go.
Well, delicious.
Aresia and the mayor, are you guys doing anything? Because you've just kind of been out front. Nobody's really come back to you. Nothing seems to be going on inside.
I'm staying round the corner with the chicken. I ain't going near the metal.
I'm with them, and I'm just constantly asking for the chicken's name and not able to remember.
So
That's all. I'm just trying to remember the chicken's name.
after a while, Raina looks at you, Livia, and just goes, well, this has been good. I hope you got what you needed. Kind of weird that you came around prying anyway, but you bought the drinks, and I respect that. She kind of slams one down on the table in front of you. It sloshes a little bit. She drinks the whole thing, and then she stands up. It's a pretty high roll. And then she turns around and she leaves.
I follow her.
Okay.
Oh, he wants to follow her.
I want to follow her. like,
Creeper alert.
I don't fancy you.
I really don't.
yeah,
Have
I
you
really
heard the
don't
news?
fancy you, Raina. I promise.
I don't fancy you. Ah, what was that?
Spirit.
Oh, I drank too much.
So, for the next, I'm going to say 15 minutes, she doesn't make it all the way back to the southern point of this encampment because it's about a kind of 20-25 minute walk from the central to the south. Probably a little bit longer than that. Again, she's kind of storming her way through. She knows the way, but you get the sense that she's just generally heading back to the rest of her squad. At about the 15-minute mark, Vice, you can tell your spell is about to end. Do you want to do anything specific in the time you have? You could recast it if you want to and you've got the slots. It's up to you.
I could, but I feel like we didn't get the information that we need.
Well, you didn't catch her conversation with Livia.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
But she's probably going to go back. I'm saying this out of game. She's
Yeah.
probably going to go back
Yeah.
and talk about Livia.
What had happened, yeah.
And that probably will open a line of conversation. So up to you, bro. What you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of continuing it would probably be a good idea. Do I have the slots to do it? Hang on.
It's a second level spell, I believe,
I
which means you probably do have
have-
the slots. I think you've got one third level spell.
It is a third level spell.
Oh, is it?
So I've got one more use, so yeah. Okay. Sure.
Do you have two
I will-
third level spells at
I've
this
got
point?
two. Yeah, I've got two third level spell slots.
Okay. So,
Now one, obviously, because I've already used one.
well, you haven't slept since casting it, so this would be your last slot, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is your last third level slot. What are the components of the spell? Are they verbal or is it all semantic? Is it called invisibility? Or
It's just invisibility.
invisibility.
It's
VSM. So you step
VSM.
off for a moment so that you can do the verbal portions of the spell. Obviously, nobody can see the semantic components, the like movements required to cast it because you are currently invisible. You wait to the sort of very last second to do it. You don't need the material components because you have a focus, but you do have to sort of step aside so that nobody hears you as you make the incantations required to cast it. You do so, and the timer restarts on your invisibility spell. You followed her for 15 minutes, and it takes another kind of 25, I would say, for her to fully get back to the south as a result of the
Bloody hell.
size of the camp. So you've got about 35 minutes left on your spell, and you're
A
back.
small town, isn't it?
You're back in the
Alright.
south. Yeah, it's definitely from the middle to the bottom is not nearly as long of journey as like one side to the other, which I think we said was like a few hours earlier walking.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
So you follow her all the way back to the southern side, and she seemingly regroups with her squad. You see her stop before Meldar. Are the rest of you doing anything specific?
I'm gonna go over and sit with Taryn.
I'm just chugging the ball.
Okay, give me
Oh, no
another.
discernible.
Give me another Constitution save. This time with disadvantage.
Do I see him chugging at a bottle of whiskey?
Yeah, easily. He's near you.
17.
Nice.
BRB.
Fine. You
Yeah.
second shot, all good, no problems.
I sit
I
down.
want-
I'm gonna be like, might want to calm down a little bit there.
This
I
normally
want to
really
ask
fucks me
the
up. Normally.
big girl who runs it if we can come in with the chicken this one time. If I take accountability for the chicken.
Okay, so you come round the corner, presumably with Nemea, holding the
Yeah.
chicken.
Nice.
And as the girl sees the chicken, she's like, "No, we spoke about this." And then she kind of looks up and realizes it's not Livia, and she's like, "Why are people bringing?" And then she sees you, Aresia, and she's like, "Lieutenant."
Good evening. Just say stone face.
Agatha is the best thing. I'm just sorry, people.
So sorry about the chicken.
I know this is against protocol, but this beast is a crucial part of our next mission. and it's important that we devise a strategy. The chicken must be present. As a one-off, as a personal favour to me, please admit us with this poultry.
Roll persuasion with advantage as a result of your
Yeah, that was
rank.
good.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, I've got my thing on a tablet, my
Ah,
sheet, so... Well, my rolling persuasion.
persuasion with advantage.
Oh, okay. Lovely. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, okay.
You need better than that.
I do need better than that. I really want a drink. And I need the chicken to come in with me. Oh, fuck.
It's not great. She kind of looks at you and is like, "Well, Lieutenant, you can certainly come in. Why don't you just have the girl wait outside with the chicken, and then we both get what we want?"
I don't think you understand. The girl here, the young tiefling, is part of the squad. This chicken is also a part of our squad. We have to convene a strategy, and I am thirsty after a long and arduous journey, back and forth, back and forth. Do you remember who found this spot of land for you to set up this mess hall?
I have no idea. I just work the bar mostly.
Okay. I'm telling you, we are coming in with this chicken.
Fucking hell.
I see. Well, perhaps if you were to cover the cost of cleaning up after the beast and maybe closing the mess hall whilst you use it as your grounds of discussion, we could go ahead with that.
Cover the cost? I'll clean up the mess myself if there is any. We don't need to part with any coin. What would we be? We'd be picking up a few stray eggs, a few feathers.
It's less about
Don't need extra coin for that.
It's less about the potential cleanliness of the mess hall and more about the abnormal nature of the request. I'm sure for a measly sum of perhaps 10 gold, I could ensure that the mess hall remains closed in this time.
You're having it.
Fucking
Absolute
rip off.
laugh. You're lucky I'm in a good mood.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. It's just that both captains and majors and colonels, they all use this tent, and when I close it, if they were to pass by, they'll need to be given some sort of explanation.
What if I told you, and this is just between us, not really chicken,
Right.
one of our squad transformed.
It's still not allowed in the mess hall.
Come on, woman, I'm thirsty. I tell you what, bring me out a drink. We'll get the chicken. I'll sit out here with it.
Not a problem, Lieutenant. Thank you. And she moves back behind the bar.
No, man. Whoever this bar person is, mate, they stand
I'm
their
just going to
grounds,
sit down
boy.
in front of the tent and fold my arms and sulk for a bit. Enough of this day.
She
It's fine, Aresia. Well, I can just wait. you
No.
know.
Oh, give me the chicken. I'll hold the chicken.
Oh, okay.
roll animal handling.
God, here we go.
Here, if you just hold her
Oh,
like
it's
this,
animal
she
handling.
has like a string and like a little harness and a lead. If you just kind of hold her like this.
Okay,
Ooh.
so with Nemea's tutelage, you managed to hold her in the exact way that Nemea sort of was, that she's sort of grumpily become acclimatized to. And Agatha, like, sits in your arms a little bit and, like, repositions. You can feel her, like, clawy feet kind of dig in a little bit as she tries to gather ground, find purchase, and sit in a way that she's happy. But eventually she kind of plumps down and is happy enough in your arms.
She has very soft feathers.
Oh, she does.
Quite comforting.
She is.
Do you guys want to discuss anything whilst you're here? If not, I'll switch back to Vice.
No.
I will be heavily.
Nemea, you've had this chicken. You
Still
deserve
down in
great.
whiskey.
Go and have a drink with the others. I'll keep watch on
Exit.
Samantha here.
I'll tell them you're here. And I just run off.
Oh,
into
no
the mess.
worries. Just if someone could bring me out a drink, that'd be wonderful.
No worries.
So Nemea, you head inside. The rest of them see you. You pass on the information. Taryn, give me another con save with disadvantage.
I'm going to ask Taran what did he find out from the guys back at the tent?
What?
What did you find out from the dwarf or the bookie fellow?
Dwarf this. Mage guy's spell. Very good.
Did you not talk to them?
You kind
You
of
know, we
throw
were
up
meant
in
to
your mouth
find
a little bit, Taryn. Whilst, like, it's not that the booze has wholly hit you yet, although you definitely have the slur that you're kind of inferring. But for a moment, you, like, throw up into your mouth and then, like, swallow it back down.
Taran, can you stop
Yeah.
drinking? We're trying to do something. What did you get out of the guys back at the tent, the dwarf and the bookman?
Do I remember anything?
From fighting with Meldar, yeah, I'd say so. Meldar specifically said to you after you guys had kind of become friends that he was willing to, like, give you the answers you initially came seeking before you patted him. Because after you patted him, he beat the shit out of you. But before that, you tried to have a conversation with him. Post-fight, when you were kind of buds, he was like, all right, fine, what are your questions? But you walked off. So you never really asked your questions. From a ley lore, you kind of got to trading more than discovery. So again, you sort of had the full-on conversation, but didn't really find anything out about Serenity Squad specifically.
Yeah, I'll just sort of look up. I'll look down into the bottle, look back up, and be like, I knew there was something.
Oh, Taran! Did you even make friends with them? Did you try and build some sort of connections that they would talk to you or anything?
I am very good friends with them. They like me a lot. And I'll just take another swig of the drink.
Stop that! Can I take it off him?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be pretty easy to try to take it off
I mean,
him.
he's pretty, like, he's
Why
slow.
don't sleight of hand with advantage, and then I won't worry about Taran rolling. In the meantime, Taran, roll con save with disadvantage.
6. That one's
Nice. So whilst the previous one sort of had you like almost throw up a little bit, you managed to hold this one down. It's starting to hit you a little bit more now. You are fully aware that if you keep this up, you're going to be like blackout, though. I don't know whether or not that's what you're going for, but you are
I rolled
heavily
a 20,
on your
so
way.
I'd like to think that I've taken it off him.
Yeah, you take it off him happily at this point. You grab
I'll
the
put it in
bottle.
my bag. How much have I got left in the bottle?
About half a bottle.
I will look quite miserable, just like
So are you telling me that you
Nemea, you're hearing all of
Befriended.
this as you sort of stand nearby.
you befriended two
I
of the
can-
team that we were sent to investigate and gain intel on, and you became good friends with two of them, but you didn't ask them a single question
nope.
about what we were investigating.
They're really
And
nice.
instead, you came here and decided to get drunk on whiskey.
Ressia told us to come. They're
What do you
really
mean,
nice.
Asteros, Taran.
No.
Asteros. You're so
No.
wasted, you can't even remember
He plays a
what
good
circle
drunk.
we're with.
He plays a good drunk.
No, but they did the round.
They did the round. Dude, you're so wasted, you don't even remember which sergeant we're with.
Nemea, you're basically like you're fully there at this point if you want to chime in.
I cannot
Aresia's
believe-
waiting outside with Agatha.
What? Why has Aresia got Agatha? Nemea, you don't just palm off Agatha to
Hello.
anyone.
She requested her. We couldn't get her in. We tried our best.
Yes, no, the lady here, she doesn't like chickens. Chickenist. Also, why have you not spoken any sense into him? Apparently, not that you'll get any worse sense out of him now, fucking drunk, but apparently he decided to make best friends with two of the Trinity squads, Serenity squad, and ask them not a single damn question. What about you? At least you got something. What did you find out?
I saw him getting pummeled, so we ran to get some help, and that
He
didn't
got
work.
pummeled. He said he's best friends with them.
Well, they had a fight.
They had a
Can't you-
fight?
Look how blue he is.
Oh, I just thought he fell or something.
Oh, he is a very strong, tiny dwarf man. So funny.
So he fought the dwarf man, and now they're friends.
Oh,
Okay, so
Yeah.
what intel did you gather? Because he's got nothing.
Well,
She looked like she got bullied.
I well, the chicken, she
Don't tell me you're about to blame Agatha.
well, she
Are you
was very
telling me that
distracting.
I will
How was
fly
I supposed to
over
get any
here?
intel?
What do you mean? She's a chicken.
I couldn't get any information. I'm sorry. I'm really not good at investigating.
Did you try? Did you ask a
No.
single question?
No.
So neither of you asked a single question. You just went and
No.
spoke to the Serenity Squad like they were randoms with no reason, asked no questions, and then came here to get drunk. Are you drunk?
No, I came
Let's
here
not
to
be
get
drunk.
Aresia a drink, not me.
Very good.
Well, have you got her a drink?
No, I'm gonna get one.
And I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go out and look for Aresia.
Okay.
Where are you going?
I'm sorry.
I feel
So
like I'm the only one that listened to the bloody intel.
Let me come with. Don't worry.
make a dex save, Taryn. As you get up, Livia, and begin to head to the front of the tent, you think you remember hearing the voice of Aresia earlier when they tried to come in and the barmaid was like, no, you heard something about a chicken. And like looked over.
Integral to the story.
But you were sort of focused on Raina at the time, so didn't really react. As you stand up and like step out from the bench and turn around, Taryn knees the bottom of the bench in an attempt to get up, and then in an attempt to like see what damage he's done to his knee, he headbutts the table. And all but knocks himself. It's like poof, and then he's like and then goes to look at it and just smacks the table with his head. You see the barmaid kind of come over in an attempt to take the whiskey away from him and then realize that it's gone and just go back to what she was doing. And as you step out front, you see Aresia sitting on the floor in front of the mess hall with Agatha in her lap. However, at the meantime, Vice, you have managed to successfully follow Raina all the way back to the southern tent where people are generally kind of spending their downtime. She approaches Meldar in front of the tent and just says to him, Ugh, I think I had a bit much again. I'm gonna go back to sharpening swords. We don't have orders, do we? And he looks at her and just goes, No, lass, we're fine. You can do what you want. I'll cover for you. Just go sit in the corner, sleep it off. Who cares? And she kind of goes to him, You're a good friend, Meldar. I've always liked you. He's like, all right, go on. And she walks on by. What do you want to do? You staying out there with Meldar? Are you following her in? Are you going to steal things from different tents? It's your choice.
God, please ask
No.
something.
Well, I think I need to. Well, they
I
don't
take
know that I'm
off
there, right?
and leave.
No, I want to just. Is Raina going to? You say she was going to go rest or sleep?
Raina's going into the tent.
I'm going to follow her.
Okay. So as you follow her in,
Lay
you
next
see
to her as she sleeps.
you see Ashen. I don't fancy Raina.
I swear.
I did not murder him. That is my best bit from iRobot. You head inside the
I've not
tent.
seen that movie.
Oh, there's one bit where they're like interrogating the robot, and he slams his fist down on the table in like the weirdest accent ever. Just goes, "I did not murder him," and it's like not in keeping with his accent for the rest of the film. It's great.
Okay.
So you go into the tent. You see Ashen sitting at the central section of benches. The central tier. Previously, he was with Asteros, but Asteros was got up, walked away, and then was called away. You witnessed all of that. You see Raina head over to the corner near Alaylor, and she leans over and grabs one of the swords from the barrel, like the unfinished sword, which is sort of the blade and nothing else. Grabs it by the bit that kind of goes into the hilt, grabs a whetstone from nearby, and just passively has it on her lap is kind of loosely sharpening it, but you can see she's mostly like just resting. Alayla looks over to her and just goes, celebrating without me, are we? And she looks back at him and is just like, I'll get you on the next one. And then Ashen, you see him kind of look over at the two of them and just goes, hey, we could have orders again at any minute. I expect you to be ready. And the two of them, like, you see Raina just about go to say fuck off and, like, catches herself. She kind of goes like, fuck, and then looks and sees who it properly is and is like, no problem. And Alayla looks at her and is just like, yes, we're quite ready, Sergeant, whenever you have the order. And he kind of turns away and is just like, very good. He turns back to sitting roughly at his bench. What do you want to do?
Is there anyone else? Is it just the three of them in this room?
No, there's others. There's a couple. There's a half-elf, there's a human, but they don't seem connected. They're sitting kind of far away from each other. They're at like the third bank of benches. One of them's like sitting up on the table, just like shining his boot a little bit, and the other one's sitting right down the other end at the table, reading some papers.
Okay. Is there any? Does Raina still have the alcohol in there?
She's not carrying any alcohol, but
Carry any alcohol with her?
no, she's not carrying any. But you can tell that she's half cut, easily half cut.
Okay. I just kind of want to. I just still want to continue to observe and see where the conversation goes.
So after about another like 10 or so minutes, you've got 25 minutes left on your spell. And you hear Raina just go, hey, Ashen. And he turns around and says, yeah, what can I help you with? She goes, where have we been getting our orders from recently? He's like, you don't need to worry about that. I'll deal with who we get our orders from. As long as we're busy, we'll be seen upon as a successful squad. She's like, well, yeah, we're great. We're doing great. I just, you know, there was the issue with the cart, and he's like, I sent Meldar. I guess he hid it or something. It's fine. She's like, yeah, I know. It's just that, well, we had one of us handling some of those weapons that didn't turn out too well. And she's like, well, I don't know. Or he, rather, Ashen is like, I don't know. We did the normal thing we should. I'm not sure why they had problems with them. They shoddy workmanship on the hilts, I say. Whoever put the wood together probably had mites or something. She's like, yeah, I suppose. Wasn't there something with a bunch of food? It was like, yeah, it fell off the cart. It's an issue, but you know, we helped. We put it back on. We carried on. She was like, no, there was something else, didn't they? A bunch of it spoil or something. He was like, we've had a run of bad luck. Okay, I'll make sure that when whoever comes around next gives us what we need to do, that it's on the up and up. Nothing else. She's like, okay, it's just that you know, we've not been in the field for a while. I'm getting a little bit itchy, and maybe we should take that scouting job. He's like, oh, no, I'm pretty sure they put people on that. For now, it's pretty much the lake, or... Well, I suppose I could speak to Bastion. He's been providing us a lot of our orders recently. And Alaylor kind of perks up a little bit, and he's like, oh, yes, I'm aware of him. He's one of the lieutenants, is he not? And Ashen kind of turns back to him and is like, yes, Lieutenant Hauser. He's been with the military a while. He is your superior, and as such, we will undergo any request he has of us. Raina goes, well, was it him that said about the cart? And he's like, yeah, yes, I believe so. He had a few requests actually, and we've, I would say, successfully undergone them all. And then after like 10 or so more minutes, Meldar comes back in, and he sits near Ashen. And he just goes, alright, I'm done now. I've been out there for a while. There's nothing to fucking see. What is the fucking point of a watch in the middle of the... If I'm gonna be looking for anything, I'm facing the wrong fucking... It doesn't make sense. send me out into the fucking nearby woods or something. I'll go in between the trees and see if I can see some fucking rustling or whatever. But he's like, yes, very good, Meldar. We simply needed to make sure that everything around the tent was perfectly good for our discussions and whatnot. And he's like, okay, but, you know, I'm done with it now. I'm sitting down. What are you lot talking about? And Raina's like, oh, we were just going over some of the shittier tasks recently. And Meldar goes, aye, well, you know, I don't care what they say. It was perfectly good steel. Whoever provided the hilts, they fucked up. So you go see somebody in the western side, in the eastern side. That went Serenity. And Alelo goes, well, yes. I completely agree. And they kind of have this conversation. It trails off from that point onwards a little bit. Anything you want to do?
No, I want to see if I can make a way out of this place.
As
please.
you turn and go to leave, you see Meldar kind of catch the corner of his eye. He kind of sees something, and everyone's kind of talking, and he kind of puts a hand up to her, and he's like, "Oh, hold up, shut up!" And they all look at him like, "Oi," kind of like, "Don't tell me to shut up," type thing. And he's raised his hand, so they kind of hold for a moment. He reaches for an axe and just swings out at the air like 2 or 3 feet ahead of him. Give me a dex save.
Jesus.
Roll high.
Uh-oh.
Dex. Do you say it's a dex saving throw? Sorry.
Yeah,
you said
dex saving throw, please. Because whilst he can't see you, he can see the effects of your footsteps on the ground. You generally have a smell.
What is going on? I
and
have
all
not
the rest
rolled
of it.
anything higher than a 10 today.
So,
You can't just say he smells.
I'm not suggesting he smells. I'm just saying he probably has a smell. And if
has
somebody
been
was
around
particularly perceptive, they might
Yeah.
be able to smell that smell. That's not what went down in this instance, but it's a factor. As he clips you, because he does clip you, you take 3 slashing damage.
Yeah.
And it leaves a cut just above, if you can see on Skype, so like here-ish.
Okay.
But your arm was down. Obviously, you're not walking around like this.
Yeah.
It leaves a cut there, and there's like a couple droplets of blood that carry with the blade and splatter off on a bench nearby as you attempt to
Oh
leave.
shit.
Can you make a con save for me?
Roll high.
Please.
Okay.
Oh, made it above 10.
So
Finally.
separate to your con save, it doesn't look as though Meldar recognizes the fact that the blood leaves you and splatters nearby, because as soon as it leaves your person, it becomes visible. A drop or two passes through the air and splatters nearby. Meldar does not notice. He's just kind of there, wide swing, and you quickly grip your arm and like stifle a small like moment of pain. He just about hears something, and as he goes to swing again, Alaylor goes, Meldar, come on now, you've been standing in the sun too long or something. What's wrong with you? And he swings again. I need you to make another dex save, please.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Okay.
Yay!
Yes. Come on.
So as he swings again, he kind of catches nothing, stands back up and like looks very quizzically. Not that you particularly see it because you're walking away at this point. The 2 people in the distance that aren't part of Serenity Squad, one of them shouts over like, "Hey Meldar, I know you like sparring, but don't you at least lead somebody to fight?" And he turns back at them and just goes, "Hey, shut up, dickhead!" He looks back over and like raises the axe up again. It's just like, must have been the wind. Puts the axe back in his on his like waist, like a ringlet holster that he has. Sits back down with the group, and you manage to leave the tent successfully.
Fantastic.
What do you want to do?
I want to
run for the hills.
swiftly go back to the mess, please.
Yeah.
Mess hall.
What are the rest of you doing as Vice is coming back?
I'm not angry with Nemea. I'm angry with Taran because he's decided.
Well,
to
Livia,
basically-
you've just stepped out front and basically seen
And I'm
Aresia.
going to find Aresia and Agatha more.
Yeah, so they're right in front of you at this point, sitting on the ground, oddly.
1 second.
Hello, Aresia. You right down there?
Hello, Livia.
Sorry. you okay there? I see you've made friends with Agatha.
Did anyone get me a drink?
Nemea is on it. Bit bop.
Oh,
Biff spop.
I hope she
So, I
has.
do have something stronger here. Taran has already drunk half of it, and I'm going to get out the bottle.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, you sweet girl. I'm just going to take it from her and take a swig.
Give me a con
I want to
save.
just kind of attempt to stumble out behind Livia.
So I'm going to sit down with her and take the bottle, have a swig, and pass it back and say, so I assume you know about our mission to gather some intel, and Taran decided to have a duel, become best friends with some of the Serenity Squad, and friends with the bookie person, but ask them no questions. And the mayor got so scared of holding a chicken that she also forgot to ask any questions, so they've discovered nothing. I had a long chat with Raina, and she basically alluded to me that she wasn't overly forthcoming. I feel like she's not the type to grasp. She seems perfectly nice. She seems like she wants to work hard. I'd say if there's a problem, it's with the new lieutenant of theirs. Apparently, he just seems to not sergeant.
Am I
Needs to
familiar
be
with him, Josh?
Roll history.
Livia!
new. Apparently, their last one got killed. But apparently, this one seems to be taking on any old job. And from what I could gather, she's aware that things have been going off on weird around them, like with a cart that got messed up and stuff. But I don't think she's at the crux of it or knows. That would be my guess. But if I was to say anything about anyone, I think it would probably be their leader. She seemed a little unsure of him. Didn't say anything bad, but she did say that he was willing to take anything that he could get. I mean, my impression was to try and make himself do better and further himself, maybe. So maybe that's where the problems are coming from. I'm not too sure. That's all I have. How's your day been?
Well,
Oh, and we got Agatha, who you've met. Isn't she fabulous?
I mean, she is
Glorious, I know.
warm and soft
She is so
and
much.
pleasant to hold.
Astros has insisted we have a cage for her, which I wholeheartedly agree with. So we will have one delivered for her later.
Well-
But we thought it would be a good source of protein, keep us full, eggs and fresh food rather than rations when we're out on the road. Vice is completely enamored with her.
I have to ask, Livia. So, Astros, I've told the rest of the group, I'll tell you, Astros has been removed to take care of other duties. He had some training materials that he needs to write up. That he needs to make a priority, so I'll be taking command of the group. Now, what Astros told me was that you were doing some recon to get some information on this Serenity Squad. You failed to tell me you had a chicken. You failed to tell me that Taran was beaten black and blue by a dwarf.
Mhm.
You
Yep, no, I
failed
wasn't
to
there
tell
for
me
that
that Vice can turn invisible at any given moment. Do you know that?
I was aware, yes, but it's not at any given moment. It takes rather a lot of his mental capacity, and he's not wide stretched in that area, so I wouldn't be too worried.
You wouldn't try anything sordid with that, would you?
Oh, Kavanaugh? Never. Straight as a ruler, that one.
No, that's assuring. That's assuring.
That was broken on the end.
Dude, I just helped you. Be grateful.
Yeah. So sorry, Josh. I rolled history. Do I know anything about the leader?
What did you get?
16.
16. And this is about Ashen, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, you heard about a relatively unassuming corporal that, for sort of against better judgment, was promoted as a result of a string of successful missions. But realistically, whether or not he had the it doesn't just take success to achieve promotion within the Starving military. You need to be the kind of person that wants it and the kind of person that like pushes for it and holds the space that the rank commands. And all this guy did was be successful consistently for a while. And yet somehow he was given that role regardless of the fact that he didn't seem to properly assume it. He doesn't strike you as somebody that is a sergeant, like, you know, slam the table, stand up, bark orders type thing. But you've heard of this person, and that sort of tale is his current career throughout the Starving military.
Okay. So, I think Ashen is the real target we need to be going for.
It seems to be. She. Did
I'll say on
it
a
few times.
16 Arrestia as well, you know his full name. He is called Ashen Thronecut.
Don't cut that throne. That's a nice throne.
Ashen Throne Cup.
The thing that really
I
got
met
me
with
is
him in the past, Josh.
Yeah, in passing. I wouldn't say... I would probably say, if anything, you probably told him what to do in terms of setting up the encampment here. He would have likely been loosely sort of trying to find orders to like give himself, but it took you to kind of see them a little bit being like loosely led to step in and say, okay, you go there, you go here. You possibly put Meldar on watch. You don't remember. It was a while ago now. It might have been yesterday or a few days before that you were like, you can keep watch for a while.
Okay. Yes, Ashen Throne Cut. I'm familiar with him. He,
it's just the way that she said he seems to be taking any orders. That seems. I mean, I've not been in the army for long. I'm not really in the army, but that just strikes me as a bit odd from the way that you've operated and things to just take orders from any chance you get. Seems a bit disorganized.
There has to be method, and you have to play to your squad's strengths. That's interesting. That is interesting. Where is
Vice.
Where is Kavanaugh? Is he with us now?
Vice?
You are not
I'm not
nearby.
here yet. Not here.
I'd go and know. He'd normally taps me on the shoulder or something if he's around.
Oh, okay.
Or kicks up dirty.
Well, Namae's taken an awfully long time with this drink.
This stuff is better than the stuff you'd got in there anyway.
Livia!
Nemea, you can just about manage to get Taran to his feet and sit him back down. But given his recent roles, he's not in a position to particularly be, like, happily running about the place. He's pretty fucking drunk. He's had about half a bottle of whiskey to himself. And I would say that you could probably, like, arm over the shoulder, take him somewhere, and you can, Livia, you can just about, well, with your passive perception, you can easily hear Taran sort of slowly saying your name in the background, back inside the tent.
Leave me. It's good.
Do you do anything to the sound of your name coming from inside the tent, Livia?
Oh, sorry. I must not come through. I didn't hear.
Taran is sort of saying your name drunkenly through his moaning inside the tent.
Sorry. Honestly, I didn't hear anything. It must not
I think
come
he
through.
said, did he say something about feed me? No, I didn't hear that. Okay.
You're not nearby.
So I'm not hearing
Clearly.
anything,
I'm speaking, you know, out of
I know.
character, I'm just saying.
I'm going to look at Arresio and be like, I feel like he's calling for me, but he's very drunk.
Before you go to him, and you really should go to him, he's a liability unto himself.
Every character I've ever created.
I'm concerned he needs a level of special care that we are unable to give him.
I don't know.
Olivia, roll Arcana for me, please.
That's not good.
As I do
Got
some
it again, I
research. Vice, by the way, at this point you have to find your way to. Taryn's not the youngest of the group. It's worth mentioning. Taryn is a sort of.
I never mentioned his age.
No, that's fair.
18.
18. So, you're familiar with using some. What have we got here? Stronger healing magics to remove drunkenness from a person, like recovering hit points, essentially. You know that this sort of thing exists. I'm looking for specifically a spell. I'm going to say any sort of strong healing magic. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Something like that. Yes. So, what did you roll? 17. Whoa, that
18.
plus 18. Okay. You know that some of your magic would remove conditions from a person. Some of it considered lesser, whilst it is still a form of restoration. Could potentially remove this affliction or condition from a person. It's your choice as to whether or not you want to apply it, but whilst he not so subtly moans your name from a distance, annoyingly drunk, you are aware that you could potentially resolve that issue.
I'm gonna level with you. I might be able to fix him. But I don't think I want it. He wasn't drunk when he spoke to the other two and completely forgot about our mission. He was sober then.
I don't understand his choices. In that tower, he just went straight in without thinking he now has a black hand.
He does have a black hand. I feel like he doesn't. I don't know. He's a good egg, but I think he forgets.
Don't get me wrong, I just worry that he's going to get us all killed one day. I've never met an individual like him.
He is fascinating.
They don't usually last very long, to be fair.
Ah. I don't know. I feel like he gets distracted easily. I feel like he needs someone to bring him some focus, you know? Like, I don't
Just
know.
How old is
Nuts
he?
and bolts.
How what?
How old is he?
Oh, no clue. I don't know. I've not known him that long. He seems really nice, and he's definitely got a brain on him, but he just forgets. Like I said to him, he is drunk though. So to be fair, like who knows what actually happened? But my impression is he got so overexcited with having a duel that he completely forgot to ask any questions, despite it being our sole mission.
I mean,
Olivia!
very basic premise.
Do I fix him or not? You're the boss.
I'll be honest with you, at this moment in time, I couldn't care less.
Oh God, Arresia, if you don't have hope, none of us do.
I just want to sit with this chicken right now. Do you understand what kind of day this has been?
Agatha, say...
Take the chicken, Don't pass the
I'm gonna
spell.
go talk to him. I'll see how I feel.
No, you stay with the chicken. I'm going to go and slap some sense into this young man.
Okay. Agatha!
It's the first time you've been reunited.
Carefully hand her to Livia and get up and walk into the mess hall
Livia,
behind Taryn.
Livia, make an animal handling check. Vice.
With advantage.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, do you have advantage for some reason?
I feel like I did, but I don't know.
If it's not written down, then no. Vice, you turn the corner at this point, fully visible. Your invisibility spell has ended, as you have turned the corner. You see Arresia head inside. Livia, what's the chicken called? Agatha has, Agatha has, like, been passed around quite a lot recently. So, as you accept her, she seems a little bit confused as to who she should be happy with. She pecks you for a moment and eventually calms down.
I'll get some birdseed that I kept in my pocket earlier when I was on the floor, and I'll feed it to her in my lap.
Okay, she chills out and sits down with you. Vice, you see Arresia storm into the mess hall.
God. Okay. It's like like Livia.
Do I see him?
You can see him.
Oh, nice.
What?
You're visible.
Yeah.
You're right
What
there.
are you doing on the floor?
Oh, Aresia was on the floor, so I just sat with her. She don't look right today.
Okay. They're not letting
She's
you
all
in.
like, I don't care. No, they won't let her get her in.
They're not letting the chicken in, right?
No, but look what I've got. And I'm going to show him a half bottle of whiskey. Well, slightly less than half now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sweet. Okay, well, hold on to that because I'm gonna
Yeah,
definitely want some of that.
I'll save it for us later, yeah? After
Okay,
dinner.
sweet. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. We need to get together, so I'm gonna go inside
What?
and I've got some information. Because
Did
I
you
follow
get
the
some
guys.
information? Because
I
no
have got
one
some
else
information.
did. Oh
What?
my god. No one else. I spoke to Raina. We had a good old chat. I got a funny feeling about that sergeant lieutenant man. He seems like the problem. But
Okay.
them two, apparently Nemaya's got like chicken lurgy. Like that just inhibits her from speaking to people. And Taran
Hey!
got too overexcited by making friends, so he didn't ask anyone anything. And now he's wasted.
I got nervous.
Olivia.
Serious.
Ugh.
It's okay. Like what? Like Taran is
Drank
wasted.
half a bottle of whiskey
Taran is
on
wasted
his
right now.
own and got drunk after making friends with half of the squad and apparently not getting any information.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm
So
gonna
it's
go
really
inside.
good news that you've got something. Yeah, get them all to come out.
Vice,
I'm gonna go
as you
inside.
head inside, Aresia, you've been inside for a minute or two. What is it you want to do?
Oh, I was just typing it there. I'm going up to the barkeep and asking for 2 glasses of cold water.
She gives them to you
Olivia.
happily enough. They're more in mugs, like wooden mugs than glasses.
Lovely.
But yeah.
So I'm going to walk over to Taran and drink from my one.
hmm
And then I'm going to just pour the other one directly over his head.
Oh no.
Taran, give me a con save.
Let's hope this goes well. There's pudding.
Okay. It definitely wakes you up. You're still drunk, but you are
Oh.
very aware of what's going on right now.
Olivia, Aresia, hello. How are we doing? Wonderful evening.
You, it seems to be.
It's not even evening yet.
It's about early evening at this point.
Oh, okay.
Not according to that dwarf. It's not.
That was a while ago.
I'm still bitter about it. I don't like being backhatted by dwarf men. Right. Are you with us?
I'm perfectly fine, and I look like I'm attempting to get up, but I can't. I'm just
Sit
sort of
down,
like,
sit down.
Nemea
Barkeep,
is
can I
on
have
his
one
left.
more glass of water, please.
She brings it over happily enough. Nemea is to Taran's left, and Vice, you have also headed into this point. You see this debacle in front of you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
drink
like, go on.
this. No, drink this, Harvest. Quickly, all it. Down it.
doesn't smell like what I had.
Drink it now. That's an order.
It's poison. I don't care.
Right.
It's not poison. Or is
Right.
it?
Has he drunk half of it?
He's
Or all
drunk
of it?
most of it. Yeah.
I'm
All right.
gonna
Stop
put it down
moment.
again.
I'm going to give him a slap across the face.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Wait
Taran,
for it.
Taran, give me a deck
I'm waiting for
save.
If you're trying to avoid it.
You kind of slap him sideways. He falls down onto the full bench and then sits
Get up.
back up again.
Right, drink the rest of
Drinks
it.
the rest of the water.
Sorry.
No,
That's
that
just
was very in
poison.
keeping with what was happening.
I did it purely for that purpose.
All right. Sober
Yeah.
up, man. No more alcohol for you.
But Olivia stole my drink. I want
You've
it
had
back.
plenty. Enough.
Well-
Enough. Listen, the next time you complete a mission successfully, I will happily buy you a drink. Until you do that, no drink.
What's my
None
last
for you.
gold piece? My last one.
No drink.
Vice is just sitting down at the bench, like behind you guys at this point, kind of watching it rather than getting involved.
35 years old, I should be able to get my...
Yeah.
35 years old. You should be able to follow orders.
But I have been in prison this whole time. And never in the
No.
military.
This whole time, you've been in this encampment, walking through woods with me, going through a big old tower.
And we
Oh
saw
my
how
goodness,
that
I'm speaking
went.
like you. Oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
Mhm.
Barkeep, I need another drink, please. A strong one for me. None more, no more for him. He's cut off.
She comes over and grabs some of the whiskey he still had in a glass from the bench that he's not at anymore in an attempt to get up and walk away, and just picks that up and then puts it in front of you.
Second-hand whiskey?
He took our last good spare bottle.
Ugh.
I was
It'll
drinking
do,
it straight
it'll
out
do.
of the bottle, and the bottle's for
Oh,
Olivia, right?
fair enough. In that case, she comes over with a glass and just puts it in front of you, Aresia, and says, "It's similar to what he had."
Okay.
Okay.
So long as it can get rid of this terrible mood that I'm feeling right now.
Why are you feeling
Okay.
terrible? You look wonderful this evening.
Well, thank you.
I go to like drink out of this empty glass of what would have been water, and I'm just like, there's none left.
Lie down, Parvus. Lie down.
Taryn
I
just.
just go head face onto the bench, like table.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
What are you doing in this conversation, Nemea? Because you've remained relatively quiet so far.
I'm just kind of watching over Taryn, and I feel really guilty because I didn't get any information, so I might as well be drunk at this point. So I'm just sat here looking at him like, oh no, oh.
At the moment, it's the two of you, you and Aresia. Vice is across the bar, but he is currently fumbling about his backpack.
Whoa!
Seems to have found some
Okay,
food
well,
in his backpack
I'm
that
just
he's forgotten
drinking my
about.
drink, but keeping my hand on Parvus's chest just to keep him pinned down so he doesn't get up again. You lying
Okay.
across
Okay.
the bed?
You move round to his side of the bench so that you can kind of hold him down. Vice,
Yeah,
at this
so
point, you
lie on
can
the
see
bench.
Taryn has kind of laid down. Aresia is
Mhm.
sitting with him. Nemea is alongside Aresia, but the three of them are not collectively really saying much. Livia, to the best of your knowledge, is
Okay.
out front with Agatha.
I'm just drinking
Okay.
my drink and
I am-
staring.
I am
Sounds
restrained. Why am I restrained? Help.
I'm gonna sit down with them and I'll be like, well, you guys look like you had a fun time.
Oh, hello. I'm restrained. I don't.
Yes, yeah, no, I can see that.
Parvus, lie
Enjoy
down.
the juice, did you, Taryn?
It was stolen. Oh my fucking god.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Taryn's all right.
Why are you not talking, John?
I was already typing, so I just typed.
Oh, okay.
The water's starting to hit you, Taryn. You feel like it's going to take a while yet, but you are starting to feel a bit better. You never really fall asleep in this interaction.
Okay, wonderful. So it seems like I've just turned up at like some sort of something's kind of going on here. I don't
It's like
know.
the weirdest
I'm
fucking
not even
after
gonna-
party you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, but Lieutenant, can I have a quick word?
Oh yes, please do.
So we need to get everyone together. Maybe I don't know. Do we have? I don't even know if we've got somewhere to go. Maybe a tent. I think we've got a tent, don't we?
You guys have your own tent. It's not in
Yeah,
the central
sure.
section of the
We have-
encampment.
I was drunk last session. You know.
How far away is it, Josh?
Say that again.
How far away is our tent?
I think it's about an hour's walk.
From the metal. That's
I'm
harsh.
pretty
man.
sure that's what we said, because you're going from the center right out, like beyond.
It
This is a
took me and
massive
Vice, it took me
encampment.
and Vice
I was gonna say, if-
45 minutes to get from the thing back to thingy, because we were late.
I'm gonna need to know what the
Any
things
festival
are
you've
in that
been to, has
sentence.
it taken you a couple of hours to walk from one
From the
end
mess
to the
tent
other?
to back to our thing when we went our tent when we went to go meet Astros and everyone else. It took
Okay.
us 45 minutes.
That's fine.
Wait,
So
all right.
approximately an hour.
Okay. I mean,
Just
there
said
is,
45 minutes.
Yeah, close enough.
No.
I mean, the only place for sure is our. Is that we have our tent that we can.
Do you have a private tent here? That's a bit more closer. Sorry, I didn't cross so
Do I have
forward.
a private tent?
You do not
Yeah,
have
if I
your
come
own private tent, Lieutenant.
Am I bunking with them?
unfortunately.
No, I wouldn't. Be.
You haven't been until now, but you have been sleeping in like joint accommodation. Essentially, this is a temporary set a settlement with the intent of using it as a holding point before moving the force forward and beginning this war that is already sort of started. So no, you don't hold a rank high enough to have any sort of private tent. And whilst Asteros is called away, it's expected that you would simply take his bed in the collective dwellings.
Unfortunately, all of the rooms here or the tents here are shared unless you're of the most supreme ranks.
Okay, fine, fair enough. No, I just rather not have this conversation here.
Well, is it something you can sit on for the next 45 minutes to an hour?
No, absolutely. But let's just get everyone together. Maybe Taryn will sober up by then. Won't you, Taryn? And I pat on your head.
Yes.
You are immediately brought back to the last time a head patting went down, and for a moment you almost see red before coming to once more.
Staff, but like don't even grab it. I just sort of slap it a bit, just like
You like almost knock it out of the kind of holdings that it sort of has on your back, and then like manage to hold yourself a little bit. At this point, Taryn, you've returned to sort of where Rayna was. Rayna was kind of half cut, but ultimately holding her composure. You're starting to hold your composure a little bit better now, while albeit still being a fair bit drunk.
I think it would be wise if we retired for the evening, don't you?
Oh, me? Yes.
Yes, you. Yes, you. And I pat you on your head again. Right?
The patterning.
The patterning.
Right, let's get everything together. Let's go pick up Lightwood and Isabella, and we'll go and.
So, who's Isabella? What?
The chicken.
The chicken?
Agatha.
Oh, I won't remember that.
Right, okay, whatever. Let's just go. Let me help you up then, Taryn. Come on.
Oh, thank.
Do I need to roll for this?
No, you're fine. It takes a bit of time.
Fellas, I need to roll for this guy.
Collectively, I'm gonna say 5.5 of you make it all the way back to your own tent.
I want to just say, as soon as I leave that tent door and see Livia, I'm just gonna go, you. Give it back.
You
Don't
go
give
get
it
some
back.
intel.
I spent my money on that drink. I did a very good fight, and I made
I
some good
tipped the rest.
bullshit. Can I insight check that?
Yeah, I didn't hear what she said. What did you say? Sorry.
You said you tipped
I
the rest.
tipped it.
Tipped it. Yeah, sure. Roll insight.
He's drunk.
Yeah,
You can't
so
probably see my face.
That drunk? Not
I mean,
anymore.
you are that drunk.
we'll see what he rolls.
I swear to God.
I feel like that should be a disadvantage, but whatever's.
It's just a higher DC.
Fuck!
She tipped it.
I tipped it, mate. Fuck off.
So wasteful.
Shouldn't have been so wasted that you let go of it. Ooh.
I'm
I mean, I would have bought it off
fucking
you.
chicken.
For a
As a-
second,
Guys,
she seems so convincing. You're not certain you didn't tip the rest of it yourself, and then you carry on down the path.
I just mutter under my breath that I'm gonna zap the fucking chicken.
What were you saying, the mayor?
Just gonna be like, guys, just stop fighting. We're okay. Everything's good. We're gonna find the information.
Right, let's
You
go
know.
back.
So,
Ooh.
it takes a little bit longer as a result of Taryn's not particularly coherent walking, his new style of traversing the encampment. But you make it to the tent, your home point within this encampment. There's a couple things that happen. Firstly, it's early evening, so it starts to get a fair bit darker. Probably not as dark as the image that we currently have up on Roll20, but certainly on its way. Secondly, there is what appears to be a cage near the entrance of this tent.
Yay! I'm gonna go pick it up.
Okay. It's like a bird cage, you know, a standard sort of like domed top bird cage type thing. It's like that if it was like 4 times the size. Not up, like outwards. So
Okay.
it's quite a
really,
large.
really tall.
Yeah, it's just if that chicken was some sort of giraffe chicken, this would be its home. If it's quite big, so you're going to be able to move it, but you're not going to be able to carry it very well. It's more for like storing than like maneuvering it, unless you had a cart or something like that. But this is kind of the wrong sort of terrain for that. However, you have a cage for Agatha nonetheless, as requisitioned. And you are all currently, from what you can tell, in your own encampment or portion of this encampment, beyond the prying ears of the rest of the military.
Well, I say we all go in. I'll take the cage with me and fuss about with the straw inside and show Agatha the cage, see what she thinks. And we'll close the flats and start talking about what we learned.
Okay. So
And by all
Vice,
of us, I mean what me and Vice learned.
as Vice
Yes.
fumbles around with some of the food in his pack, seemingly about to make himself a meal, whilst the rest of you have access to your own rations. This is the first time, Vice, that you have had the group entirely to themselves. Taryn,
Wonderful.
I would say that you're probably all but sober at this point, given the walk back.
Yeah. I was going to ask about.
Yeah, you're good. You're tipsy, but you're good.
Wonderful. Good stuff. So, guys, I mean, I don't know how you guys got up.
I couldn't hear that.
Or I don't know how you guys got on like during the time that I was away, but I managed to get some information. I don't know how useful it is. Maybe something here is useful, but let's see if if we can pick it apart.
What is it?
So I followed Raina back to her camp. I went into the tent, and the Ashen, Raina, and is it Elalor?
Alayla.
Alaylor, he's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah.
God, don't remind me.
And yeah, he seems like
I'm going to look at her quizzically.
yeah. And anyway, so I overheard the conversation regarding the cart, and it was they sent Meldar to hide weapons, or the cart, or there was weapons that were on the cart that were handled really poorly, and that they were damaged in some way. I figured they were just constructed poorly. The hilts were not at the right quality to be used as a weapon.
That's what they thought.
Yeah.
So deliberately?
It's worth saying,
Not-
Vice, that you know that the cart wheel,
Mhm.
the poorly constructed weapons, those are two separate instances.
Yes.
It's not that the weapons were on the cart.
No.
The cart
But
was an issue in itself, and the weapons
Yeah.
being poorly put together was a separate issue in itself.
Yeah. So, so the cart was hidden by Meldor still, right? If I got that information right.
It's not that he hid it. It supposedly Meldar was involved in like helping the cart, and then the wheel broke. Whether or not Meldar broke the wheel or not remains to be seen, but certainly Serenity Squad was called upon, Meldar went, and then shortly afterwards the wheel broke.
Yeah.
Specifically what happened, you're unsure.
So no information that I overheard told us that they were responsible for the damage to the cart. But they just mentioned about food falling off the cart, and that some of the food was spoiled in the process. And also apparently, if I'm right, if I heard it right, some guy named or some lieutenant named Hauser. I mean, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name, Lieutenant, but
Roll history.
Oh, hang on.
What's your background feat thing, Aresia?
My background feat.
Yeah, like the ability you get with your background. What is it? I swear it's something to do with your military.
+5 to initiative, cannot be surprised while
No, that's
conscious.
not it. Hang on.
That's why I have a feat.
Yeah, no, feat's the wrong word. That's my bad. Let me just find.
It was
your
like a thing that was like to do with the ranks.
Yeah, I feel like it is, which is
Like
that's what I'm saying
authority.
because I think I should be giving you like advantage on this.
Oh, sorry, I got the soldier feature. I'm able to.
Oh, no.
Able to exert influence over lower rank, you usually gain access to camps. Yeah, okay, cool. It's not in relevance to
to what you're doing.
to
What did you ask me
knowing
for?
people
History.
necessarily. That's fine. So yeah, roll history as normal. I was just thinking maybe you should have advantage as a result of your background, but no, that's not how your background works. Okay, you recognise the name in passing. You're generally familiar with everyone that's kind of your rank. The higher up you get, the fewer there are, obviously. So at lieutenant level, there's still quite a few of you. You don't necessarily know everyone by name, but I would say that you definitely recognise most names. And Hauser rings a bell. You don't know the guy very well at all, unfortunately.
He's lieutenant as well. That's
He
his
is a
name.
lieutenant, yes.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the name, but I can't place his face.
I believe you're muted,
Back
Vice, or
muted.
just not coming through.
Yay!
Hey, he is muted. It's happened. It took a while, but we got there.
Damn it! No.
You almost made a whole session.
Oh, fuck's sake. Oh well. There's always,
Gotta happen.
You should have like
always next
a...
week. Yeah, there's always next week.
like when you used to watch... like Ant and Dec had a program when we were really young, and you used to have to like phone in when the donkey was on screen or something like that.
That's
Oh,
SSUB
Wonky
Live.
Donkey. That
Yeah,
one.
we should
Yeah,
start holding that. Like you have to phone in when you detect that Vice is muted. You win a prize.
One egg of the eggs.
Yeah, we'll start
yeah.
hiding an egg in conversation somehow.
So okay, fine. Well, apparently he was the one who gave the quest, gave the mission about the car to the Serenity team. And that is all the information that I was able to get from being there before I got attacked. Not
You were attacked?
well. I was gonna say not directly, but it was damn sure directly.
What happened?
I was trying to leave, and Meldar he could sense I was there, and he took a few swings with his axe, and was able to graze me a little bit just here. But
What do you mean sense you is? And like what? Like your magic?
I don't know how. Maybe I don't know. I mean,
Did you cough or something?
no,
He wasn't
I mean, I didn't
particularly
cough,
magically inclined. He might have just heard you. So
I'm not sure. He
Speaking sense now, are we?
You
Oh, yeah, yeah.
smell a little
Yeah, I
bit
mean-
like a farm animal.
I mean, he did sniff a couple of times before.
Oh,
Took a swing at me. I
everyone
mean,
wants to blame Agatha for everything.
I'm not saying that it had anything to do with Agatha. I mean, we have travelled for quite some time, and
we've only had her a day.
I'm not
Strauss
saying
was
I'm
smelling
saying
you
it's
quite a
I'm
bit.
not
Might
saying
be
it's
quite
her.
stinky.
I'm not saying it's Agatha. I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying we traveled for a long time.
Yeah.
I may have a smell of attached to
So,
me.
who's this dude? So there's this bigger boss that seems to be giving
His name's
Ashen.
Lieutenant.
Ashen all of his jobs.
Well, he gave them this particular job, this particular mission.
Oh, you mean the ones
well,
where
cart.
with the swords and the cart and stuff?
Involving the cart. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, did Raina say anything? Did she mention our discussion, our talk, or anything?
She barely mentioned it. She did, but she just brought up what the incident that happened. Not that the conversation really kind of took place. That you were kind of like that she had spoken to you about anything or anything like that.
Oh, well, it's good to know that our conversation sort of rocked, like her brain, I guess, made her start thinking about things and asking questions. I guess it's good that she didn't moan about me either. I guess.
Yeah, it's good.
Did you learn anything else?
That is the extent of my information. So I'm sorry. I'm sure you guys have got more information than me.
Go on, guys. Why don't you share what you got?
Oh, don't ask Parvus. He's got nothing.
I made some good friends. They seem like quite.
he got drunk.
Didn't suspect
God,
anything bad. Really?
It got drunk.
He
And they
he
said that
seems
she
perfectly
didn't have-
coherent enough currently.
The mayor said she didn't have much luck.
I
Or rather,
didn't
she...
know what to ask. I'm sorry. I'll
Well,
be
It's
better
okay.
tomorrow.
Don't worry about it.
It's okay.
Looks
Them
like Vi's got
situations.
enough information for all of us.
Wardens of Dusk.
Thank you, Vi.
I do have to stress that the king gave you a lifeline so that you could act as a scouting squad. And gathering information is going to be part of that. Please, please, don't cock this up again.
Oh,
Sure, I
Harvest,
think-
I'm looking at you. No
I
drinking.
said the lake as well.
I'm not the only one that.
I'm sorry, Captain.
Captain, oh, I wish I were a captain. One day. Next
I
rank
don't
up
know ranks. I'm
is
sorry.
fine. Arezia will do. I spent too long correcting you all. Just stick with my name. Right, so we've learned that Ashen is taking any witch mission that's given his way.
He seems to be
Without question.
buying for anything to try and improve his status. Which
He
would
is
not,
up for everything.
which would lead me
He
to believe
is
that maybe he
DEF.
is trying. Maybe he is taking bad jobs, or maybe he's in leagues with wrong people to try and make himself look better. I don't know. Is that the kind of vibe you got, Vice?
That it did come across, but he was very much like, just don't talk about it. Let's just take the jobs that we get and just move on. So, yeah, I would say so.
Where
Sounds
is
like
the
we need
missive?
to.
Say that again. Sorry.
Where is the missive? Let's review our objective.
Pretty sure Ferdy kept it. She took
Yeah.
it back.
No,
and I
didn't it burn? Once didn't we read it?
Yeah,
It
I
burned
had
in-
to burn it.
She did
Yeah.
get you to burn it. Yes.
I
Ferdy,
burned it with my gloves.
classic Ferdy.
Classic.
Unnecessary.
Because the
Right.
mission regarded specifically looking
Oh.
into a squad within the Starver military, it was to be kept. What's the word?
Covert?
Yeah,
Secret?
Great.
discreet. We'll go with discreet. None of those are the words I'm going for. It will haunt me until it comes into my mind. But there we go. And she generally said that like nobody's to know. So she said that to destroy it, and then Taran said he could destroy it, and did so in his hand.
Kill it
Do
with
they
fire.
know who issued the mission?
Yes, it came from Fandy,
Ferdy.
Dindy, Ferdy.
Was Ferdy the one who actually issued it?
She issued it, yeah. She gave them the choice of 3. They took 1. She said, fine, but you'll need to destroy this missive. So that there's no
Okay.
proof that you were asked to look into somebody within the Starver military.
Okay. I have no idea what you
Would it not be enough information with what we've got right now to give?
I mean, all of you collectively remember what you were tasked with, and that was that a string of... Actually, let me see if I've still got it. Hang on. A relatively new squad has come back from mission and rejoined the army. Around the time that they came back, there have been several accidents around the camp and on the way to the camp, all of which can be generally tied to one of this new squad being directly involved or at least seen nearby. The only way to investigate them without bias is to use you guys, because you've constantly been away, and as such are... it's impossible that you would have been involved. Except you, Aresia, but you're trusted enough that when the swap out occurred, they just allowed it without any question. Your task is to essentially interrogate the new troops, and then I've written some stuff that's more for me than you.
So we're just trying to find out the reason for these.
We're trying to get to the bottom of what.
Trying to get
what
to bottom of
funkiness
get
is
to the bottom
going
of these
on.
accidents, why
Yeah.
they happened, and then report that back to Ferdy.
Well, I mean, look, it didn't seem from when I was there that they had a direct link to the actual the cart being damaged or these weapons being damaged. No one took any ownership, or they didn't make any jokes to say, Raina, who's a blacksmith, it was her that created the weapons or smithed the weapons, and they were very much like, well, it's what's on there, or this
bit
is how we
oblivious.
found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they just kind of that was
It's
their.
fair to say
attitude
from
towards it.
Vice's sight of what happened, that this squad does not seem to be doing these things on purpose.
Okay, but all we know is just that
Is
Ashen's just a bit whimsical in what he accepts. What rank is Ferdy?
You would know that Ferdy is a major.
Major.
Right, okay.
So a couple ranks above yourself.
Okay. And we don't know much about this Hauser guy other than...
He holds the rank
I
of
feel like
lieutenant.
maybe this guy, Ashen, doesn't know the depths of like the problem, but I am suspicious of the guy he seems to be getting orders from.
all of his orders come from this Hauser guy.
Yeah, so if he's getting all these orders from this Hauser guy, but this Hauser guy's giving them all orders, he's taking them without question, but they all coincidentally seem to be ending up in problems. Like, he knows nothing about it, maybe, or maybe knows some stuff. The group know nothing, so they're just doing what they're told. He might be doing what he's told. But his boss should know what's going on and why he's giving them those orders.
To be fair, I agree, and I also think that maybe he's probably more aware about what's going on with the situation and using them as a scapegoat to take the blame.
Yeah,
take the hit away.
like I feel like maybe he's doing something or trying to get something done. I don't know how this place works. I don't know, trying to fuck things up. But obviously, he's not going to get his own hands dirty, so he's going to go to the guy who he knows will take on anything and do anything without any questions. Because
without any questions.
The problem is, a lot of this is assumptions on all of our parts. So this is all purely subjective, and we can't go back to Ferdy with subjecture. We need to get something more concrete.
Well,
Well, we
then
need to
let's
investigate
track down
Meldar
this.
dude.
Yeah, let's track down this Hauser guy.
Yeah.
Meldar, Hauser,
that's it.
Ashton.
Hauser.
Hauser, sorry, I didn't mean Melda.
You'll be very hard pressed to get near Hauser at lieutenant level.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I've used up all of my invisibilities. I've used up I'm completely unable
tired.
to go invisible. I'm tired.
No need for that. No need for that.
I'm trying not to say anything about slots.
It's cool. You did well.
We've all done what you could.
Could you speak to him, Aresia?
Well, I'm
Given your
the
rank?
Yes, I think that'll be the next thing to try. Now that we've gotten some information as to,
She was very clear that this was to be discreet, and I'd be worried about we wouldn't want to just accuse or
not at all.
plainly say what we're doing.
Not at all. That's a new lieutenant. Fair that an experienced lieutenant comes and offers him a word of advice or two, or lends a free ear.
Ashen was a new sergeant. You don't know whether or not
sergeant, even better.
you don't know whether or not Hauser is a new lieutenant.
No, I'm talking about Ashen. Sorry, I mean Ashen. I want to go for Ashen. Okay, so what I'd like to do. What time of day is it, Josh?
It's sort of early to mid evening. If you wanted to sleep, you're not a million miles away from potentially sleeping. You could waste some hours doing some stuff and then sleep. Deal with it in the morning. If you wanted to deal with it now, you're pushing it a little bit, but definitely not enough to be awkward or weird that you would be out at this time. It's early enough that you could certainly still be out.
The only thing I would say is that when Asteros tried to talk to what's his name? Ashen. Too many A names and it's making my brain hurt. He definitely went for the hard and stern and authoritative approach.
Oh, well, that's our sergeant all over.
Yes, you can imagine what he was like. Quite demanding and pushy, and came firmly up against a brick wall.
Oh, no need to worry. I know full well what the sergeant is like, and that won't be my approach. I'm simply just going to
chat.
Just make sure he has everything he needs in his new position.
Lieutenant.
So, yes.
I just realised I was too excited about making friends to remember that I could do this. But if we don't want to get ourselves directly involved with asking this lieutenant any questions, thing like that, I could always do this. And I want to use the Alter Self spell on me and transform my entire appearance to that of... Let's see, what's the most entertaining thing I could do?
I believe there is a height restriction.
Yes, there is.
So you probably couldn't achieve Meldar without being Meldar, but a fair bit taller.
Oh, I don't want to attempt him.
What
That's
about
fine. I'm
Ashen,
just
though?
I'm just letting you know.
What race and stuff is Ashen?
Ashen is a human.
Okay, so that's not unrealistic.
No, I mean none of them are particularly unrealistic. You could probably even do a slightly taller Meldar.
I would probably go straight for Ashen, considering he's someone I've been around, so I would recognize his features a lot more.
Mhm.
And then I would immediately change to that, and I go, I could just do this, and I would sound exactly like him.
Does it make you sound like them?
Yes, sound of your voice,
Sound
hair
of your
length,
voice, you're
coloration,
right.
all distinguishing characteristics.
Okay, so
I completely forgot about that feature of the spell.
Ashen stands before you. The spell cast. It is incredibly convincing. And yeah, he's right there. Amy stepped away, so you see Aresia almost kind of wrapped up in thought for a moment as she sits down, facing the other way. She's kind of thinking about what you guys could do. And you say this, Taryn, but the people that see it are predominantly Nemea and Livia.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you could go talk to the other guy about the quests, the missions you've been doing, and see what he says. Maybe he'll just be open about it. Maybe he'll just tell you outright. Aresia, what do you think? Look at him.
What?
She looks over her shoulder from sitting down.
Look,
Hello.
it's Taryn.
Taryn currently stands in front of you looking and sounding exactly like Ashen Thronecut.
I mean, that is impressive. What good will that do us?
The hell?
We could get Taryn, Ashen, to go and talk to
How's it?
him and see what he says about all the things he's been sending him on. He might be like, oh, you know those dodgy missions I sent you on that were all dodgy and fucky. Boom, got it.
That would be wonderful.
I'm just going to turn off the spell and go back
Okay.
to Taryn.
Taryn reappears.
Oh, hi.
Okay, so first of all, let me just ask a few things. How long can you maintain that spell?
About an hour-ish, somewhere.
An hour. Okay. And are you quick on your feet? I have yet to see it.
I can run a bit.
Okay, no, we're not doing that. If that was your response, no.
Why would I have to run?
You don't, dear, you don't. You just need to be able to adapt to your surroundings. Not run. Take things too
Why
literally.
on my feet then?
Oh my goodness, my goodness. All right, we'll keep that in reserve. Livia, would you mind making sure that everyone gets rest and stays in the tent? We'll come back to that.
Evelyn's laid any eggs in her hen.
Roll animal handling.
Sorry. Sure, sounds good. Maybe you should go talk to him then, and then off the back of that, maybe this is a good plan B, because I do think it's a good plan B. It's a good idea, Taryn.
Well, let's do that once
Once you've spoken.
we've eliminated all other options. It may not be necessary, and we also run the risk of the two Ashens walking into the same place at once.
Oh no, we can do some sort of distraction technique. You'll be fine. Oh, eggs for breakfast dinner.
Oh wow!
You don't know what it is, whether or not she particularly likes the cage or something else. But in the time that you have not been paying too much attention to her, she has laid quite a large egg.
Big fucking.
Oh, there goes Amy's webcam feed.
What the hell is that?
Fortunately,
You know,
because
I know it's an
Max
egg.
is right to the
But
side.
why is
it's
it?
working
Why
better.
is it?
There we
size
go.
of-
Doesn't know what an egg is.
What? No, but I mean, that is not.
That's a big egg, right?
I did not expect that to come out of Agatha.
Come on, she's brilliant.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Amy. You're good.
Aw.
That egg is
Come
almost
on,
as big as she is, man.
We can see you. We can hear you. You're
Five
fine.
of us.
Oh,
Oh,
there
okay.
you go.
I
No,
want
you
to
gotta
walk
go.
slightly over to the chicken, and I'm just like, oh, now that she's laid an egg, can I kill her now?
No, get away
No,
from her! Vice, stop
Taryn.
him!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to. Um, I want to do something to him. I'm just going to grab him and just push him down into the chair. So that's I
Got
was going
rid
to
of my
cast a spell,
drink.
but I thought.
Spent my money on that drink.
No, you can drink your drink.
She doesn't have it,
If
I'm
you,
sure.
I don't.
later.
Do you want to fight this Taran, or are you just going along with it?
I'm letting myself get put down. I'm not intentionally going to just zap the chicken.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm just out of spite.
Vice kind of half steps in the way and like just raises a hand to your chest a little bit. You stop.
How beautiful is this egg, Vice? I told you she'd be worth it.
Yes, I mean I'm quite surprised that came out of her. I'm not going to lie.
Omelette?
It's good.
Should we have an omelette for
Eggs
breakfast?
every day, fresh eggs
Fantastic.
every day. Come
How about-
on, how
how
much
about
do
we
you
have-
love Agatha? Oh, let's
No,
give
you
her
know
some
what?
feed.
Okay, you know what? I was a little wrong about her. She's over delivered clearly. But we should.
Overachiever.
She is. Let's hold on to that until the morning, though. Eggs are better for breakfast, right?
All right, okay.
You have in
Oh,
your
it's
inventory,
another.
Vice, one large egg, and the suggestion of perhaps the world's most pathetic omelette, according to Nemea's suggestion of an omelette with one egg.
Hey, it was a big egg.
It's a big egg.
It is a big egg.
As you're all discussing this, and Taran is making this his stand for some sort of attack on the chicken, you notice that Oresia has just all but left the tent at this point. Whether or not you guys want to go with her is up to you.
I'm gonna lie down.
No. I think we agreed that she's gonna go and we're staying.
Okay.
And we're gonna have dinner. What's for dinner, Vice?
Who's already eaten
I
the
have-
raw egg?
I mean, I'm already. Oh yeah. I mean,
Crunch.
don't look at me. Don't look at me right now. I have. There's plenty on the menu. I've still got that goat. And I still have. I mean, I still have the chicken. I've got 10 chickens still. I've got rice. No, I don't. I don't have rice.
I was like, when?
No, I've got vegetables. We can make up a nice little stew. Let's make up a nice little stew for you guys.
Let's have a stew. Let's have a stew.
Let's have stew goat tonight. It's too big. I don't want to keep carrying this freaking all this time. All this mission, I've been carrying this huge freaking goat on my shoulder. Like, I don't want to take it.
I thought we agreed that you sort of like butchered
Oh,
the
yeah,
goat
you
and
cut
then
it up.
spread
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I'll help you chop the veg.
Let's do it.
That does mean how many uses of goat do you have?
I've got 6 uses of goat.
6. So take off 1. Because when you spread that about the party, Asteros was in the party. And he's not anymore, which means Asteros
Okay.
somewhere has 1 portion of goat.
Okay. Fine.
Goat for Oresia.
So 5 goats, but that's pretty much going to be done now anyway. So
Yeah, just use that now.
No, I mean, they. How much do they last by themselves? What's your cooking thing allow them to? I swear it's a week extended to a
it's
month with your
it's
thing.
A month. It's a month. Yeah.
But you can extend it to a month, right? I think you did
Yeah,
that
I
with
can.
all of your things.
But doing that, I need to kill the meat.
Yeah, but
I basically.
You did
I'm
that.
basically
I
jerking
swear
it.
you did that with
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
goat.
I did do that. Yeah.
So yeah, you're fine. That
but
shit will
one-
last ages. It's not been very long.
Yeah, but he's using it now.
But
Oh, I
I'm saying if I've got 5 uses. If I want to cook everyone a meal,
Yeah.
yeah. then
Well,
I might
Ressi
as
is
well
not
just
even
use
there,
it.
so it's only 4 uses
No,
if you
but
want
we
to
should
cook
cook for her for when she comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cooking.
See, some people can.
You
See, no,
fools.
I was down to cook for her anyway. So I mean, I'm just gonna do that. Let me.
Are
Just,
you looking to cook with the intention of applying some sort of
Yes,
benefit?
please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
How many
I'm not gonna
benefits are you
practice
looking to
tonight.
apply? Are you practicing or are you applying the benefit?
No, I am applying the benefits
Okay.
to everyone.
To
please.
everyone. So, do you have sufficient sides and flavor ingredients to go with this main?
Yes, I
spices,
do. I have
5 veggies.
plenty. I have plenty. So I'll just take them all off. I've got carrots and I've got potatoes. I've got too much potatoes.
So you just as long as you remove 5 uses of the side, what's the flavor ingredient? Some sort of spice or something like that.
Yeah, I've got fennel and I've got salt and I've got loads of spices.
That'll work.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
again remove 5 of
Don't
those.
I've got.
Stew.
Oh, actually, I've got. Yeah, that's fine.
Peri peri sauce, whatever works for you.
That's fine. I'll take off the ingredients. That's fine.
As long as everything's removed by 5, you are good, and everybody will
Yep.
receive the benefit of Vice's cooking. Vice, why don't you go ahead and give me a cooking check, and we'll see whether or not there's any sort of bonus above and beyond the standard student of the culinary arts bonus.
As I'm helping, can I cast guidance on him?
No, you're not any sort of cook. You could cast guidance. Yeah, you can cast
Yeah.
guidance. Sorry.
I'm chopping the veg. I'll cast guidance on him.
You're
while
Like,
supposed
what
to
do I
add
get with
proficiency. Add proficiency. So it's a +3, so that's 9.
So that'll
Plus
be
a
plus
D6.
3, yeah.
plus a D4.
Oh.
D4.
Is it a D4 for guidance?
Yeah. guidance
Oh,
is
okay.
terrible.
You sure you don't want to inspire yourself in these trying times, Vice, as Sal would usually say? He used to say guidance. He used to say, "I'll guide myself."
I mean, sure,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
sleep
go.
after this,
we're gonna
aren't we?
we're gonna sleep anyway, so that's cool. Yeah, why not?
So you're currently
Why
at
not?
an 11. This is taking a
I'm
lot
on
of
11.
work to make it like remotely tasty.
Oh my lord, what
14.
the hell is happening?
So everybody gets the base standard, twice Vice's proficiency bonus and temp health. So everybody, including Aresia, though it won't apply right now, will have 6 temp health. And that
Yep.
temp health just holds until it's used. It doesn't stack with any other temp health. So if you got temp health from any other source, then it wouldn't stack unless you got it within now and Vice's next long rest.
Sorry, I
Aresia,
was off there. What? How much temp health was it?
6. This many is.
Cool.
Aresia,
Mhm.
you've spent some time heading away from your encampment.
Mhm.
Not long after you left the tent, you could smell the beginnings of Vice cooking something over the fire that is in the center of your encampment, and there was almost a longing for the cooked goat that you could just about smell on the wind as you moved further and further away. Eventually, you headed further out from the encampment, and you realized shortly after you began your journey outward into the... Oh my god, Discord, stop being a butt. There we go. Slightly further out into the various tents and things. You don't actually know where this Hauser fellow, this lieutenant...
I'm looking for Ashen.
Oh, you're looking for Ashen?
Yeah.
Then you're fine. You do roughly know where he is kept. It does take you some time because you're passing right from the northeast all the way down to the central south portion. So it's a solid kind of hour, almost hour and a half by the time that you reach where you met them before. You find Serenity Squad in the southern section. They're at the same sort of tent, but they do seem as though they're about to kind of pack up and head out. You see that Alaylor has all of his books kind of back in his bag. He's loosely reading one as the rest gather some things. And you can see the four of them, sort of setting up as you pass through the tent into this holding tent where people that don't currently have orders seem to spend their downtime. What do you want to do?
Is the tent open? Can I see in, or can
It's open
they see
enough
out?
that you can see in and they
Okay.
can see out, yeah, depending on the angle.
All right. Good evening, all. Ashen Thronecut, may I have a quick word?
Everybody sort of looks up as you say good evening, and some of them respond. Some of them are kind of caught a little bit off guard at what they're doing. Ashen looks at you and is like, yes, certainly, Lieutenant. Please take a seat. And he motions to the seating opposite him.
Oh, would you mind if we spoke in private? We could speak outside.
Of course, at your behest. And he stands up and heads outside, meets you in the, more open pathways that are not littered with tents near the kind of edge of this encampment.
Right. Well,
Is
Sergeant Thronecut, it is a pleasure to finally speak to you and introduce myself properly. As you may already know, I am Lieutenant Aresia Godwin, and I
I do,
am
yes.
currently...
Good to meet you in official capacity.
Likewise. As you may know, I am currently in command of our squad known as the Wardens of Dusk. You will know them as the former prisoners, and I am currently taking...
My understanding was that Sergeant Somniatel was leading that slightly irregular squadron.
Yes, that's why I wanted to speak to you. We're actually commanding this group so that we can both adhere to our other duties at the same time. As I'm sure you are aware, whereas I'm sure you can imagine they can be quite time-consuming trying to manage a group that has not gone through any military training.
Certainly,
So-
they seem somewhat unkempt, though I can see the requirement for such a expendable squadron.
Well, they are certainly a interesting bunch, but they have their talents and they have their uses. But I did hear when briefing them on the takeover, as I've now taken back command from Sergeant Somniatil, that he was quite forward with you earlier today.
Well, the sergeant has a reputation, and whilst some of those in my squad currently harbour his interests as to the outsiders or amidst us, he certainly has a way, and to suggest that it might be forward, I don't think would be incredibly untoward. But he holds his rank with good merit, from what I understand and what I hear, so outside of his irregular practice, we offered what we could.
Well, I do hope that he wasn't at all aggressive with you. I'm concerned a little bit that his elder years are maybe catching up to him. You, on the other hand, are quite young and fresh-faced, and to hold the position of sergeant is quite a commendable achievement.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant. I've worked quite hard, and I mean to serve the rank well.
I've heard you've guys have taken on a variety of different missions. Well, you're very versatile in the things you are going out and doing.
I've been blessed with a squad of many talents, and I don't mean to squander them, certainly. I'm sure you're aware when somebody of a rank such as yours offers a task to be completed, it is not within my interest to simply turn them down.
Oh, of course, of course. Are you getting these all from the same lieutenant, or are you being directed by a number of sources?
Well, we have a number of sources, of course. It's not abnormal that several senior ranking members within the military might have use for a squad such as mine. Roll persuasion. Ooh, this might actually be with advantage given your background.
Yep.
Oh, I don't have it open. Your background basically is regards to board and general imposing your higher rank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say roll with advantage. I think that's fair in this instance.
Okay, we'll go to the first one.
That's fine. So he says to you the same as what I just said, but he's sort of like, certainly, Lieutenant Hauser has taken somewhat of a shine to my squad and their abilities. I hope that he would put in a good word. Where down the line, of course, I've not held my rank for long, but if something were to be offered down the line, hopefully my name would not be off the table.
Oh, well, from what I have seen so far, I certainly think your name will be known across the lieutenants and upwards.
Oh, excellent.
Keep at it. I'll tell you what, Ashen, and I say this just because I'm quite impressed with what I see. You may know that I have climbed the ranks rather quickly during my time at the military, starting as a private and so on and so forth to my rise as lieutenant, and I'm not done yet. But if you ever need a word of advice or you ever need a listening ear, feel free to come and speak to me, and I will certainly be speaking to Lieutenant Hauser about you and your future career.
Well, that's very kind of you, Lieutenant. Yes, certainly your tale is one that the men talk about fondly. It's one that I look to perhaps mimic in the days to come.
Well, stay stay close to me, and maybe we can make that happen sooner than you think. So tell me, these missions, they are quite an eclectic mix of things, and don't really seem to be going out in the field, though. Has Lieutenant Hauser mentioned why he's given you the missions that he is?
Well, certainly we've been in the field. We've completed many a mission outside of the military and on our own. But given that we are currently engaged with the Wood Elves, and he kind of has a face of like, not so much disgust, but just like a general hatred. Like for a moment, he's kind of just like the Wood Elves, but not in a case of like he hates Wood Elves. It's more like they're the enemy now, so he's against them. It's like, it's not unusual to have slightly more homeward bound tasks, given that we are looking to move forwards and deeper into the woods, as it were. I've not found anything abnormal as to Bastion's requests.
Your ration.
Bastion.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I overheard Raina. It assumed that you weren't.
Sorry, you cut out in the middle there. Say that again, please.
I said I had overheard Raina saying she was itching to get out in the field, so I had assumed that you weren't.
Ah, yes. A slightly more forthright member of the squad, that one. I can appreciate how she may well be itching for some action, but I'm sure in the days to come, as this war rages on, she will see all the action she's interested in. Certainly we can't be going out dealing with nearby bandit camps north of Stalvin whilst we are holding the position that we do.
They did mention that, although I've only heard good things about you, but I have heard that there were a few accidents along the ways on some of your missions.
Some unfortunate business. Obviously, in these situations, my squadron and I were not the only ones involved. I can't be held accountable for the actions of others. I have offered assistance as requested, sometimes by Lieutenant Hauser, other times not so. But certainly, I'm sure whatever you've heard is simply a misunderstanding. My squadron is a sound squadron. We are effective, and we have a good record.
Well, yes, but it'd be nice to have a clean record rather than a good record. So if we could get to the bottom of these accidents and prevent them from happening, your promotion is just inevitable. Why do you think these accidents... So, roll persuasion?
Yes, please. With advantage as a result of your background. Okay. Well, yes, I'll be honest. It's not my preference that some of the tasks we have been afforded have otherwise gone untoward. Certainly, the instance with the cart, I suspect that Meldar was simply more heavy-handed than was otherwise necessary. As to the sabotaged weapons, I'm not too sure what's taken place there. Raina maintains that the hilts provided were not up to code. To be honest with you, I didn't check them myself. My understanding was that they had come in fresh and were to be used.
Who provided you with those weapons?
Well, a private dropped off the barrel that we then proceeded to use, but I must admit in this instance it was a task that Lieutenant Hauser left us with. I don't look to speak ill of anyone, Lieutenant Godwin,
not.
You must understand.
Of course not. But, I'm very, very keen to make sure that your talents don't go unrecognized, and it would be a shame if there was someone else's haphazardness or neglect was getting in the way of your future. So if there is anything I can do to help or have a quick word, discreetly of course, in anyone's ear, please let me know.
I fear that perhaps I am to be wrapped up in some sort of gossip that I don't wish to be involved in at this point. As I've mentioned, my squadron is quite successful. We have had some issue with the occasional task, not unheard of, as to our squadron or otherwise. Perhaps if you were to pursue this line of questioning, it seems that maybe Bastion himself would be best to direct you. I
Please
can.
don't get me wrong, Throwing Cart. I'm not trying to question you. I'm just purely trying to make sure that you are not being taken advantage of as you are your post, as I fear the Sergeant Somnitel tried to. I'm just making sure that no one else, lieutenant or otherwise, is trying to do the same.
Well, I do appreciate that yours comes with a somewhat helping hand, whereas Sergeant Somniatel seems to rule with somewhat of an iron fist, misplaced or otherwise. I can provide you with the rough whereabouts of Bastion's tent, but I'm afraid I have little more information than that.
No, that's fine. I can find it. I can find my way to him. I'll speak to him another day, as it is getting quite late. But if there is anything, please come and speak with me.
Thank you. I will bear that in mind. Good evening. And he turns and heads back inside to sorry, different bot. You may well need to turn this one down too. The old one wasn't playing music anymore.
Alright.
So he heads back inside and seemingly gathers his men who were otherwise near enough by, and they head off westerly from this point. If you want to return to your tent, it will take another kind of hour or so, a little bit more.
What time of day is it?
It's mid-evening at this point.
What's that in, out world time?
It's kind of like 9:30ish, roughly. It's dark, and
Okay.
easily time enough to sleep if you were looking to.
Yeah, I'll go back to the tent.
Okay. You return to the collective group, seemingly at odds as to whether or not Taryn should kill a chicken. Half of the group is very much ingrained that now that she has proven her worth as a egg-laying hen, that she should be kept alive. The other half, I'm not sure what side of the fence the mayor's on. The other half sort of saying that a chicken meal would be better than simply the eggs provided.
I missed that last bit, sorry.
Saren seems to believe that the chicken is better than the eggs it provides, and the rest of them are trying to maintain that the eggs are worth more. As you enter.
Parvis,
Yeah.
you lay a finger on that chicken, and I will lay all my fingers on you. Leave the chicken alone.
I just look not phased, but I'm just like, oh.
Leave the chicken be.
I just extend a hand like a menacing claw towards it.
Clarissa has worked hard. She must rest. So, what have I missed?
Dinner!
Oh, is there perhaps some spare for me?
There is. Here you are, Lieutenant.
Thank you so much.
Fresh.
Oh, I
Fresh.
realised how ravenous I was until I smelled your cooking.
You gain 6 temporary hit points, Aresia.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I really need to start putting this towards my my apprenticeship. I'm too giving. Benefit everyone,
Too kind.
Too kind.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Delicious.
Wonderful. Good stuff. But in the morning we'll potentially have this egg.
We might have more.
We may do. We'll see.
Scrambled egg.
Potentially.
Oh,
Yeah, put
So how
egg
did
to
you
bed
get
and
on?
actually shut the cage so that she can't
Yeah.
escape and no
Okay.
one can get in. Now that it's like nearly bedtime and I don't trust other people.
You do so,
So,
easily enough.
I'm going to relay to the group the conversation that I've had with Ashen and fact that he said Bastion is the person to speak to about the sabotage weapons.
Okay. Bastion, yeah.
Good intel. Nice work.
Thank
Well
you.
done. You did everything that we were trying to do for hours in like 20 minutes.
To gave me half an hour to do what you guys haven't done in 5.
Mm,
Um,
it's the chicken's fault.
well, you know.
Blaming Agatha for everything. You're never gonna have an egg at this rate.
So listen, we'll take no more action on this tonight as it will arouse suspicion. The majority of the encampment will be retiring for the night very soon. But I do
Great.
think we need to plan our next move wisely if we're going to get more information for 30.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we
Bedtime
can do that.
peeps.
So collectively, the group long rests. It comes through to early the next day. Those of you that have used hit dice, you recover half of your used hit dice. I don't
Is
know.
it
If
round?
yeah, I was just about to say I have no clue if it's rounded down or rounded up. Recover hit dice 5e.
Most things are down, so I'd assume.
Most things are down, but I feel like it might be up. Lost hit dice.
I'm pretty sure you said down in the previous session.
Toss against hit dice up to a number of dice equal to half the minimum of 1 die. So yeah, let's go with rounded down. So yeah, if you are missing any, rounded down, but it has to be a minimum of 1. You wake to a relatively early day. It's sunny, given the time of year. And you're roused pretty early as a result of, in fact, even earlier than I originally intended, as a result of the hen making quite a lot of noise. She's not exactly like cockerel style cooing in the morning,
No, but she's
but
making noise.
she is clucking and like, you know, what's the word? Trotting about.
Yeah.
Generally knocking
Someone
things
take
around.
the hen out to the bathroom.
I will go and open her cage and then lay down some feed for her to keep her occupied for a little bit and let
Yep.
everyone get
She
another
seems more than
20
happy.
minutes.
Yeah,
I'm also
spell
going to
slots
check to see if there's any
recovered.
more eggs.
Spell slots
It's been a whole
recovered.
night now.
What's the word? Inspiration
Yes.
recovered. Any other short rest stuff also recovered on a long rest. Livia, give me an animal handling check, please.
Nine.
Okay, no more eggs so far, but the last egg was laid quite late at night, so you suspect maybe it was just in too close a proximity to the previous one. I don't know how long you guys want to run. We can cut off here, or we can run for like another half an hour or so. It's up to you guys.
I'm
I-
easy, I can
Cut off
follow.
that.
I do need to shoot.
Yeah?
I'm afraid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We will cut it off there. You guys are just about to potentially go and find this Bastion Hauser. We'll pick up next Tuesday. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
If you did.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys.
See you next
Thank
week.
you all. It was fun. Till next week.
It's awesome.
Goodbye, stream.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
guys.
Bye,
Had a lot of
stream.
fun.
Stream.